Hello guys. Oh, you guys could just hear me clacking away, couldn't you? It's a little awkward. Forgot to mute my mic. Alright, did RoboCow get me? RoboCow did not get me. Let's get a how's everybody doing? My hair's wet. My hair's wet. Does it look ridiculous when wet, friends? Hey, what's up, Locky, Rach, Twacky, Vic, Alex? Fancy top, thank you. I got it while thrifting. It's very comfortable, and you guys know me. I run all heck. Could never live with it. Oh, thanks, friends. You guys always know just what to say to make me feel good inside. Okay, so I was just getting organized. For those of you that don't know, today is going to be episode 2 of our podcast. We'll come back to that later. We're going to be chatting with our friend Annie, who you probably know from TikTok, Annie Cabani. We have done some content together and stuff. Let me just go live on TikTok real quick, guys. I'm so glad they added the green screen back. I don't know why they ever took that out. Okay, cool. So that's good to go. Let's go live on that. So yeah, today is going to be the second episode of that. I'm really excited. So I'm just getting a little organized right now. Thought you're trying to look from Greece. I kind of look like that with the mustache. Amazon. It's not, but I'm just gonna read a bunch of summaries later. For the audiobook on YouTube at 1.5 speed. Yeah. I thought about that. Hey guys, if you are watching on TikTok right now, this is probably a little confusing. I just want to let you know this is a reminder. We are filming our second episode of our podcast, the start of the podcast. Today we are chatting with Annie Cabani. And if you're watching me on TikTok, you probably know her. We've done a teacher series together. She does a lot of fun stuff. We're going to be having like a 2-hour candid conversation. You're not going to want to miss it. So just come on over to the site, just click in the browser, click my
Happy 4 months.
I'm going to be chatting
Hope
mainly
your stream
on
goes
Twitch.
well today. Cool story, Bob. KPO Pope.
Hey, Race, thank you for the 4 months. You caught me talking to TikTok. You caught me talking to TikTok. TikTok. Guys, I finally set up my stream deck. I've had a stream deck for like months now, and I finally set it up. Sometimes reading chapter titles can help. Nice over that. I like that you'll read summaries, but not the book. It's like it's a principle thing, because I'm not getting paid to read this book, and I have too much other shit going on in my life to read a book for my day job. That's just the sad truth of it, to be honest. You thrived on TikTok recently? I've noticed not. I like a week or two ago, I was doing really, really good, to be honest. Guys, thanks for starting a hype train. Appreciate it. Dan Brown did this experiment where you skim your eyes over the words. This guy did that for loads of books, managed to win a quiz because his brain took the words without him realizing. All right, good to know. Book summary should do it. Yeah, I'm just going to read a bunch of summaries. But you're totally right, Captain Smudge. You're totally right. On my way. Awesome. And if you want to know my zodiac, guys, come on over to Twitch. We have a whole command set for it. So, friends, for those of you that have not, were not on the first watching the first episode. Hey, what's up, Trisha? Do you want to be on the podcast at some point? No pressure. We can talk about it later. But if you'd like to, I'd love to chat with you. So guys, if you were not here for the first filming of the first episode, we have a command called muted. So during the conversation with Annie, I am going to mute all of the alerts. They will still show up on screen. There just will be no audio cue, and I will not notice them, or I will not talk about them during the podcast, but afterwards I will circle back. I just want to make sure that my guest, who is being so kind and generous with their time, does not feel distracted or feel like my attention is divided. They feel like they just have a safe, comfortable place for themselves. So any donations and whatnot is definitely appreciated. We'll 100% circle back to them during an actual conversation. 2 colors, 1 color most important. 3 word points in each paragraph, and another most important. Okay. That sounds like some real shit. That sounds like some shit that actually works. 3 times, sorry, I understand what you say. Yes, it's like, sorry, Trisha, sorry. I am not good at asking. But if it sounds interesting to you, guys, did I make a podcast where I just talk with my friends about whatever I want to talk about? Yes. Did I put any further advanced thought into it past that? No. That's what makes a podcast fun. I agree. The best things in my life were done with very little thought. It's just the fact of the matter. I agree.
I need water.
Captain Smudge. I gotta fix some of my alerts, don't I? Every time I forget about Donald Duck, I really do. I really do. I forget about him every single time.
Oh.
Captain Smudge, thank you for the 400 and thank you for blessing us with Donald Duck. I'm sorry your name didn't pop up, but so I'm gonna say it 5 times real quick. Captain Smudge, Captain Smudge, Captain Smudge, Captain Smudge, Captain Smudge. There you go. How am I doing today? I'm doing pretty good. I've been sleeping a lot more recently, which I don't really understand. I think my body's just been tired. But I've been good. I'm a little nervous about this like quiz thing I gotta take for my day job tomorrow, and it's gonna be at like 7:30 a.m. So I'm not looking forward to that. But I think I'm actually gonna like get out of bed because usually I like work from bed, you know, from like 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And I'm gonna do it here. I think I'm just gonna have a good time. That's awesome. This is nightmare, Dixon. It's like yesterday. Missed my flight? Oh no. Were you able to get on the next one, Sage? That is rough. That is genuinely rough. I've missed a flight before. I've told you guys the story of the night I drank a whole bottle of Malibu to myself, and it ends with me in my underwear on the side of the freeway after puking all over myself in my dad's car. That's a good story. That's a good story. If some of you guys haven't heard, remind me after the podcast. And I will have to tell you. It's a good story. But it's too. We only have to tell it. Why are you being quizzed on it? I don't know. Ask my boss. I don't know. Does mental mapping work for you? Sometimes, yeah. You'd have to describe it a little bit more. Should I set up a biscuit can during the podcast? Oi, Annie. Hello. We're speaking with another Annie today. I need that story. I will tell you guys the story after the podcast, if you remind me. Biscuit can. Alright, but if he gets too distracting, I'm churning him off. Biscuit is our priority in every other stream, with the exception of these. Almost too wild to be true, yeah. Good morning here in Mexico. Hello from California. Good morning. The Uber driver missed the turn onto the airport. I needed to cry. Yeah, Uber drivers. You always get the worst ones when you are in a rush. Don't you think? sounds like the kind of guy that's like, oh, hold my beer kind of dad. You know what I mean? How do you swing to get extra money out of it? That's what I don't know. This game is very intrigued by what I'm doing right now. Alright, there's the boy. Oh, there is. Picture your head, your house and your head associate facts with specific things in the house and mentally walk it out. No, that sounds like too smart. That sounds like too smart of a person thing for me, to be honest with you. Biscuit is so dang cute. Goddamn Biscuit and his goddamn cute little friggin' face. Guys, thank you for the level 1 hype train, you mad people. I appreciate it, guys. I really do. So what's going on with the podcast? In just a few minutes, we're going to be calling our guest. Interesting. We'll get okay, cool. Oh, I appreciate it, man. Alright, let's drink this caffeine. We need like a cat command. Something that's like make sure that I'm still paranoid. I have such a bad memory that like I'm constantly. Is anyone else like constant? It's like the equivalent of taking a math test and doing like 9 plus 8 in the calculator, even though you're like this. Do that all the time. Just keep doing it in the calculator. What should it be?
Listen,
Hey, Carly.
I'm not saying I'm a crackhead, but I've definitely accidentally done crack once. So, there's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot.
Hi Zach, hi friends. Excited for the podcast today. I hope you all are having the best day.
Thanks, Carly.
Sending you all my love. Zacho one heart.
Zacho. I always forget that it says Zacho and Heart, so I talk to him. Hello, Carly. I hope you're doing fantastic. I hope tax extensions are not getting you down too much, and you're doing well. Feeling anxious about this quiz, and I have to do this podcast, guys, and then I want to do 1 to 2 auditions after this. And then it's like, it's not how I want to spend my Sunday, you know? All right, but forget about it. What's he going to do? Fire me? One of his best employees. Have the most splendid day. I agree. Biscuit or cat can. I agree. We can make a channel point reward, like give a treat to Biscuit. Small game night for my birthday, so I'm hungover but feeling good. Oh, that's awesome. I love a game night. Game night is probably one of my favorite things to do these days. Deep breaths, use Spark Notes. I promise that it's not on Spark Notes, but I'm gonna read a lot of summaries. I'm gonna take a bunch of random ass notes. I fucking hate that I have to be quizzed for a job I don't care about, and frankly, he doesn't. I mean, I'm not judging him, but he does not give a shit about us. All he cares about me. Am I alive right now? Yes. You know, hey, he's successful. Anyways, let's move on topics. Before we call Amy, guys, were there any questions you guys wanted to try to ask her? I wrote down a bunch. I forgot not to do before this time. Also, I still need to do Leslie's bit. Leslie sent me a thing. Also, guys, I think I owe a couple of you like a personalized video. Please reach out to me if that is the case. Tell me. What is this, school? What is this, school? I don't do bad work. When I show up, I do my contractually obligated work, and furthermore, I do more things. And he's been upfront that my role in the position is like a assistant. I care about performing well, but does that job speak to my soul? No. That's okay. We're not here to talk about that. Clearly, it's on my mind, though. Game not equal instance. I agree. I agree. Jazz hitting diff today, guys. Remind me so much of one of my friends is the best. I mean, how do you know I'm not them? How do you know I'm not them? How do you know? How do you know? First time catching the stream. What's up, Joey Climbs? Thanks for coming out, friend. Appreciate it. See bookshelf behind you. Any favorites? Yeah, the King Killer Chronicles is probably my favorite series ever, which is on there. The Elderling series is on there as well. Two really good series. Took a trip to the city this weekend, and there were some interesting people on the subway stations. Whether they doing card tricks. So good to see. That's what I loved. That's what I love about you, Carly. Always so welcoming. That's what I like about our community. We're super fucking welcoming. Okay, this time though, I will be getting rid of the background music. I don't think it's very like podcast. Jazz hitting diff as always. Yeah. I will put my jazz playlist in the Discord for anyone that would like to continue to listen to the jazz. But I think we are going to. This is my favorite out of all the jazz we've listened to. This is the one I come back to. It's 6 hours long. Why is my nose so itchy? Everyone stop looking at me. Everyone stop looking for a second. Stop looking. Don't look. Okay, you can look again. Frequency the Edge stream. He's great. Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, fudge yeah. I mean, foo yeah. I mean, flappa floopa floop. Itches every time I stream, right? And I swear I clear my throat like. But I've set up a hotkey this time to mute myself. I'm allergic to Twitch. Heck yeah, I think I'm allergic to life, to be honest with you guys. Does anyone else just wake up tired, run down, feeling a little sick? Got a little tickle in the back of their throat every single day? A little muddled? I think I'm allergic to life. Need that in me button. Well, the thing is, during a live stream, I don't really mind like occasionally clearing my throat and stuff, but I'm looking at my levels right now, and every time I do that, it jumps up to like negative 20 decibels. I'm like, we don't need to hear that. No EpiPen for that. It's called marijuana. Ooh, that's what we should talk about. So guys, if you're just joining us now, pretty soon we're going to be filming the second episode of our podcast. What's up, Fenna? Frequently mute my hairdryer to try my water. Oh, that's a good idea. See, the mustache is staying. Yes, but my photographer just got his camera, so we're going to be able to take photos again. But guys, during the podcast, all alerts and stuff will be auditorial muted, not visually. They will still visually pop up on the screen. Am I black and white to you guys now? Hi, Annie.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, I know it's a little weird. You won't be able to see me.
Why are you black and white?
It's because I opened Discord. God damn it. Okay, hold on 1 sec. Let me see if I can fix this without. Okay, awesome. So what happened is Discord tried to use my camera and then, okay. Hello. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, but it feels like there's a bit of a lag.
Are you listening to my audio through the stream?
No, I muted it like you said.
And there's a bit of a lag. Maybe.
Oh, wait. I mean, it's not actually no. It's maybe I was being dramatic. It's fine now.
Got it. Maybe headphones would help.
Sure. Yeah. Let me. Where's my bag? Oh, whip that around.
You look so nice today.
Oh, thanks.
Let me pop you up so everybody can see it.
Word, that probably helped.
It's not a stream if there isn't some technical glitches on my part.
Get out of here.
How's your day going? Oop, I cannot hear you now. Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Okay, how did I do this? How did I do this last time? Last time I was able to get your picture.
Is that the shirt?
There we go. It is the yes, it is.
Nice.
When was the last time you've gone thrifting?
Oh my god, years ago. I haven't been thrifting in so long.
How's the thrifting scene in San Diego?
Poppin'.
Poppin'?
It's more popular like down in like North Park and like
Okay.
Hillcrest.
Got
like
it.
down in like a more greater area, I guess.
Got it.
But I mean, there's actually some good stores in like Poway.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that always get like rated by Poway high school teens.
Those goddamn, you know what? Poway teens have everything, all right? They're already in Poway. Now they need to take the best fits, the best clothes.
They ride fucking horses to school, Zachary.
I have nothing to say to that. I don't know what to do there.
Right?
Okay. Something I realized I did not do the last podcast is, do you want to introduce yourself? Do you want to say who you are, what you're about?
I'm so bad at this. You put me on the spot.
I'm sorry.
Let's see. So this is like when I ask my clients, like, I want to hear about you. And they're like, I don't know what to say about myself. And I'm like, oh, now it's my turn.
Why don't we start with your name?
I'm Annie.
Yes.
I'm Annie. I am a content creator, I suppose, and also work full-time as a psychic medium, which I was able to build my client base through content creating on TikTok.
Tell us about that. What does that mean? What does a psychic medium mean? For those, let's pretend that I know nothing about you and I'm also fresh off a spaceship to this planet. Tell me about it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. So, as a psychic medium, I work one-on-one with people. I prefer to work one-on-one with people. And I hold sessions where I open up my connection to source. And I connect to either like their loved ones or if they have any spirit guides. It depends on, I mean, sometimes they like, when they book a session with me, they'll like specify like I'm hoping to hear from this person or I'd like to
Hmm.
hear from my guides. But it's really whoever just like comes through. So and there's a lot of like misconceptions, and obviously like there's a lot of like
Hmm.
misconceptions and like stigma or stereotypes
Yeah.
with this kind of profession. But yeah, so when I sit down with them, it's everything's obviously virtual because of COVID, and then also to accommodate for like long distance or international
Right. Right.
clients. So I either Skype them or I sit down with them, and I do kind of do an introduction to myself. Like I kind of give them a little background and like a story, like of how I got to this point in my life.
Yeah.
And then, but for the majority of the time, what I'm doing is it's kind of like it's kind of broken into like two parts, I guess, but they do kind of connect together. But
Yeah.
pretty much during that time, what I do is I just relay any messages that they might need to hear in the moment.
Hmm.
There's sometimes they have people like loved ones that come through that just want to say hi and like let them know that they're okay. Sometimes they have people that come through that really have like a really urgent message for them. I've had clients where they've been able to reconcile with loved ones, like
Hmm.
family members that passed, which is always really, really cool to see.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's just it's really fun. Every session is really different. My goal is to just I just want to help people. Like
Yeah.
I just want to provide some like clarity and guidance.
Gross. So
Yeah.
gross.
Yes, I know. How dare I?
How dare you want to bring good into the world, reconnect
Right.
people with their loved ones, ancestors, friends,
I
whatsoever.
know.
So
So
I want to talk lots more about that, but let's put a pin in that. So the name of this podcast is, we'll come back to that later. So we're gonna do a lot of jumping around, but
love it.
I also want you to have full autonomy and authority. If I ever like go to jump around, you're like, oh, I'm not done expressing myself. Please do the
Shut
same.
up. I'm not done.
Please say it exactly like that. So
Okay.
let's let's do a quick plug. So just in the beginning, and we'll do it again at the end, so you don't have to do anything crazy. But like just right off the bat, where can people find you for your content creation, for your medium work? Where's your hub?
So I am mostly active on and
TikTok.
TikTok and Instagram and Twitter, kind of in that order.
Got it.
Actually, no, I feel like I'm more active on Twitter, but I use Instagram more to message with potential clients when it
Got it.
comes to
Got it.
my
Drop
job.
your handles for us.
So
TikTok is Annie Kabani.
yes, TikTok is Annie Cabani. Twitter is also Annie Cabani.
Okay.
And then Instagram is Annie Kin Skywalker,
Got
all
it.
one word.
So you're not a uniform handle gal across all social medias.
I'm not, and I have something to say about that.
Oh, okay. Say it.
Because I watched your story yesterday on Instagram when you were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, my friend Annie is going to join us," and
Mhm.
you were like, "Her TikTok's Annie Cabani, and then
Yes.
her Instagram's Anakin Skywalker."
Yeah.
And the way you said it, I was like,
Oh, did I have some attitude?
"I'm sorry, is not okay to have more than one
Yeah.
handle."
I don't know. I used to have that as well, and my Twitter right now is because I'm Zach Cowman across everywhere. But my Twitter is Zach Cowman1, because believe it or not, a Zach Cowman exists on Twitter, and he's got like 40 followers or whatever. But I don't go on Twitter at all, so I haven't like tried to like
Oh my god,
do
I
anything.
love.
You love
I love
Twitter?
it. If you're into astrology, I actually talk more about it. I just tweet about astrology more on Twitter.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, let's talk
but
about astrology. That's one of the topics. So tell us, guys, you don't know this about Annie, or maybe some of you do, but she is not, in her opinion, in my opinion, an expert astrologist. She
honestly,
is once you reach the level of expert, this I truly believe this. Once you reach the level of expert, you then realize how much in depth the subject is, so you don't feel comfortable calling yourself that, but she very, very much is.
okay.
Okay. All right. Why don't you take us? What is your relationship to astrology?
Um, I use astrology as a tool to understand myself better. I use astrology as a way to kind of just to grow more, I guess, as a
Yeah.
person, understand how I respond and how I react and who I am in the
Yeah.
world. Astrology has also told me why I have felt some like struggles in certain areas of my life and
Hmm.
why I don't see that struggle in other people. When I look at their chart, I'm like, oh, that's why. And then I see where their struggles in their areas of life are. And I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I use astrology as a way to just understand myself. And it's not like a belief system. It's not a
Mhm.
religion. There's no creeds or like tenets or anything that you have to say in order to say like, yes, I'm an astrologer or whatever. Like I'm into astrology.
Yeah.
Um,
When did you
so
find astrology? How did it? Do you remember? Has it been something that's been with you forever? Was there a specific time in your life?
I've always been into astrology.
Okay.
I've always like this is what I tell my clients. Like when I give my little like backstory.
Mhm.
Um,
Give it
I
to
tell
us.
my backstory.
Yeah.
Can I? Okay,
Yes.
let's right now.
Or yeah. Finish what you're talking about. We'll put a pin in
I
it.
need to
We'll
finish my
come back
line.
to it. Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Finish the first question I asked you. Gosh.
I know, rude,
Who's
Zachary.
distracting you?
Okay, so
Yeah.
see, I already lost my place. What was I talking about?
Something you always tell your clients when you first found astrology. You've always had it.
Oh yes, astrology. I've always been into astrology. I only knew about like sun sign or like pop
Sure.
astrology.
Yeah. Ooh,
Um,
pop astrology. Okay, popular astrology. We're already deviating off the mainstream. I love it.
oh yes, pop astrology. That's what Astro Twitter calls.
That's the toxic people on TikTok that get mad about it.
What?
Haven't you found that like the pop astrology community on TikTok is incredibly toxic? I have found that.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
they're all like a bunch of teenagers posting
Yeah.
about their ex's sun sign, and I'm
We
like,
love our teenagers, guys. We'll come back to this, but if you're using just your sun sign to describe what is probably a failing in communication, either on your part, their part, or both of your parts, you're not gonna have a good time.
yeah,
Back to the
like
original thing.
yes. So I only knew about sun sign astrology,
Hmm.
and I think it was around, I want to say like 2015. 2015 was a pretty
Hmm.
like pivotal year, I feel like, for me.
Oh,
Um,
okay, got it.
a lot happened in that year.
Yeah.
And so 2015, that was when I learned about like moon signs, and I was like,
Hmm.
what the fuck is a moon sign? And then I read my moon sign and I was like,
It's all coming together.
I've never related to anything. I thought I related to my Scorpio sun. I relate to this. Like, what? And then, oh, but you know what's interesting? And this is why knowing, if you want to know your full birth chart, knowing your exact birth date is time is so important.
Hmm.
Because I always thought that I was born at 10:29 in the morning. So that
Ooh.
technically would have made me a Capricorn rising. And then just a few years ago, I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, I was 10:29, right? And she was like, No, you're born at 10:19. And I was like, what? And
10
so
minutes changes it.
that's why the exact time is so important.
Dang.
I looked it up, and I am a Sagittarius rising. And when I read more about Sagittarius rising, I was like, that that's like the most.
Hmm.
That's the sign that I think I resonate the most with is Sagittarius.
And we're sister signs. You told me, right?
Yes, Gemini rising.
And you're okay because you're Sag rising and I'm Gemini rising.
Yes,
And then there. Okay, got it.
yeah, and you're
That's,
Sagittarius moon as well.
I am. Yeah, I think you one of the few things that I like learned about astrology when we started talking is because like I've always been able to like as you know like read people, kind of understand based off like their the way they communicate, the way they sound, all those kind of stuff.
The first time that we talked and like we were getting to know each other, like you read me super well, even without astrology. I was like,
And you did the same to me, and I've never had anyone, but you went to such a level of detail that no one has ever done like with me before. And so, and this is when I started thinking like, guys, I've always like enjoyed astrology or whatever, but I've never met someone that is like, your ninth house is blank and blank, which means the degree of the positioning of the planet, like it's to such a level of degree. And you just like cracked me open, and I was just like, what is this? And so you've opened my eyes to astrology.
well, when you did it to me, I immediately was like, he's just doing this with his brain. He doesn't need astrology. He's just doing this with his brain. And I remember watching the video, and I literally said out loud, the more you got into it, I was like, no, please stop.
Well, it's I feel like a phony, and I'm about to I guess give away my trick, because like yours at least is like you're using kind of like data, whether people agree it's empirical or not. You're using specific points and I guess like correlations. I, on the other hand, am just using like vague specific language to like connect with someone based off like just kind of like assumptions.
But it was still accurate though, so
Yeah.
that's what counts.
That is what counts. But that's the thing with astrology too, or at least like pop astrology, is like anybody can kind of like you could kind of be like, that's why whenever somebody would ask me my sign, because I used to hate astrology growing up, I really, really did, because it was like
Doesn't surprise me. A lot of
astrology.
people, like, they say, like, "I don't believe in it," and I'm like,
Mhm.
"It's not a belief system, but continue."
Oh, it's not a belief system, it's real.
Yeah.
Which, hey, yes, but like to me, astrology kids, especially growing up, because we're relatively the same age, are like they're similar to like choir kids or theater kids, just like people that get up in your face about their beliefs.
Hey,
And
I was a choir theater kid.
yeah, a chat is saying there's a little bit of an echo. Could we be a little annoying and ask you to maybe like plug in headphones if you have them ready to go?
I have headphones, but they're AirPods, and
Oh,
they're not good. They're, like, 1st generation, and they're not good.
got it, got it. You don't have any that are like just traditional like headphones, no,
Um,
with no microphone attached. I know we're being so annoying.
I'm sorry, I don't think I do.
That's okay. We
I'm
can
so
make
sorry.
do.
Do you want me to turn, like, my volume down?
That might help a little bit.
Okay.
Might help a little bit. We're so annoying. Turning it down might help. So okay.
A
Anyways,
little bit.
that's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. These people, these auditorial people, almost like. Anyways, so because I don't appreciate anybody that like gets up in your face and is like, here are my beliefs, take them. Which,
Yeah.
you know, most people don't do that. We were kids and stuff, so I didn't like it, and I furthermore didn't like that I'm like a Leo, and it was like up until like I got on TikTok, everybody was like, "Oh, you're a Leo? That makes sense." It was like it seemed
Yeah,
like, and I feel like, do you agree with this? Like maybe over time, certain signs are hated more, like are currently in
absolutely.
the zeitgeist. Like right now, I think Pisces men's and like Capricorn men. I've never heard shit about Capricorn men, and then in the past like 3 months, everybody's like they're manipulative as fuck, and
Well,
I'm
I
like,
there's a reason for that.
oh, hit us.
Well, okay, so, um, in tarot,
Yeah.
Capricorn is represented by the Devil card.
Ooh.
So, so typically the Devil card, what the Devil card means in tarot, it means
Yeah.
that there is some shadow stuff. There are some negative patterns or relationships or attachments that we have in our life
Mm-hmm.
that we need to let go of. So a lot of people, when they report in the astro community, that when they date Capricorn men, specific, I'm not sure about women, I've just heard Capricorn men.
Okay.
Capricorn men, when they break up, a lot of people talk about the need to do, like, they feel like they need to do some shadow work, like they had some real self work that they needed to do,
Yeah.
because Capricorns in general are people who, they work very hard, and their sister sign is Cancer, so
Mm-hmm.
they do care about people, but they're Earth signs, so they do work very hard. They're very grounded. Sometimes their care, can come off as like critique,
Mm.
and they're also very structured. So, um, and that can kind of project itself
Yeah.
depending on what the person or how the relationship is like. That can kind of project itself in the relationship. And if they break up and that other person feels like for whatever reason they are going through it, like they got some shit to work through, yeah, that's why.
Okay. Okay. What are some of the misperceptions or misconceptions you think people have on astrology overall?
I think a lot of people I think a lot of people that don't understand astrology, or don't take time to learn about it,
Yeah.
they think that people who do know about astrology, they use it as a way to justify their actions and their behavior,
Right. Right.
and
And a
that's
lot of
not.
people do
And
that. Yeah.
there are some people that do that. Oh, sorry, like I'm a Libra. I'm like, no, you're just a bitch. Like,
Just
fix that.
Capricorn things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, my ex had to do some shadow work. Sorry, I'm a Capricorn.
What is
Like,
shadow work?
shadow work is shadow work is addressing the dark parts of ourself that we still
Oh.
carry with us,
Okay.
that might manifest in ways that come off as just like irritable behavior, like really
Mm-hmm.
emotional, reckless behavior, belligerent behavior. So
Mm-hmm.
like shadow work is important because it's important to honor those parts of ourself, and it's
Yeah.
important to understand why we did that and who we were in that time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people carry like shame and like guilt with them, and
100%.
yeah, like, and they don't like talking about like they don't like talking about their dark parts.
Yeah.
But the thing is like we all have them. Like that's literally what makes us human. So I'm not saying like we should just like trauma dump on everyone
Yeah.
like throughout the day.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, shadow work is very important. If you're
Got it.
taking like spirituality seriously, it's
Yeah.
important that you address those parts of yourself,
Mhm.
and not only address them, but like kind of forget, like, have forgiveness and like kind of honor
Totally.
those parts of yourself. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
And take responsibility.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a big thing
exactly.
for me. What is, if you're comfortable, what is some of the shadow work you've had to done? And I can start if that makes you feel better.
Sure. Why don't you start?
Okay. Some of the shadow work I've had to done. I guess because I've never put it that way. I just put it like because our brains, obviously our brains work differently, but we, as we've communicated, and you can tell me if you disagree. I think we reach the same conclusions, and we even, I think, go about problems the same way. I think we just like label it differently internally. Would you agree with
Yeah,
that? So
yeah, I
I've
think so.
never thought of it like shadow work. I've just like always thought of it like, like just working on myself or trying to
Yeah.
become more self-actualized. It's all the same stuff.
Hmm.
So one of the big things for me, I guess two things come to mind very quickly. Um, I've chosen the wrong people in my life, I think at like pivotal times in my life, which then I think kind of, I then created like trauma-based behavior based off that. Like kind of
Wow.
loving the wrong person. And when I do fall in love, like I give completely and freely and tend
Mhm.
to let my boundaries disintegrate
Mhm.
for
Oh,
somebody else's benefit. And that's something I
uh,
had to learn.
been there.
Right. Uh,
Been there.
but then I overcompensated. So as I got older, I then did the opposite. So then I was too closed off, and I wasn't allowing myself to fall in love. And if I'm being honest, this is a pretty recent revelation, at least
Mhm.
since like post COVID, that I was like, I don't think you've allowed yourself to love in a hot sec, bud. So that was one of them, was sticking to boundaries and keeping them, and then not allowing myself to create, I guess, like trauma based habits or relationships or thought processes or whatever.
Yeah.
Another one was I think I often fall prey to like the negative aspects of like comparison, um,
Mhm.
but not
Yeah.
necessarily in the way people would think traditionally, like in terms of like, this person has this, so I'm envious. It's more like, my stuff can't be bad because
Mm.
X, Y, and Z. I shouldn't
Right.
be in pain because this isn't actually trauma, because this
Yeah.
isn't heartbreak, because. And I think part of it is the fact that like I'm an actor and I'm a romantic and I love stories, so it's like in my head I always have like this epic thing going on, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's not what's happening here, like
Yeah.
so I guess realizing that like I can still have things I need to work on or address, even if like it's not like, colossal things are breaking and falling apart. I think
Yeah.
a good way I described it to some friends is like, I'm pretty, and you know me pretty well, so feel free to be like, I think you're wrong here, which is great. I think I'm a
Okay.
pretty like even keeled temperament kind of guy. Would you agree with
Yeah.
that?
I would say so.
Yeah,
Yes.
like my normal everyday life, I kind of just live right here, and I have ups and downs and stuff. But since my everyday is here, if I have kind of a dip, it's very easy for me to go like, well, that's a pretty small dip you've had there, bud. Sometimes you've had dips like that. So I'll tend to just nullify or mull over most things, because
Right.
the rate of, I guess, negativity is pretty minimal in my eyes. So that's something else I've had to work on, is like, you can't
Huh.
just ignore your shit, brother, just because you're like, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Seriously.
Um,
Wow. Well, that's
yes,
good. Good for you.
thank you.
Proud of you.
But even as I'm saying this, because like in my mind, maybe it's because I just learned the term shadow work, but shadow work in my mind, like that seems like it holds such like a negative connotation, or at least a heavy, shadow, dark, evil, the lack of light. So it's even hard for me to classify those as shadow work, because I'm like, it's not like I struggled with like, maybe more intense stuff, like maybe like self-harm or an
Okay.
eating disorder or
Yeah.
a physically abusive relationship. Personally, those have never come into my, well, self-harm maybe is a little bit, talk about that later, but yeah.
Right.
So that's long story long for, that's what comes to mind.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Let me think
Yeah,
about.
and don't forget our
I
safe word. We can always move on.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, one thing that I think just like over my life, I've had
Yes.
to kind of work through, and that I'm very aware of,
Hmm.
is that I can be really hard on myself,
Yeah.
um, because I try like, I try to like because I just want to like help. I just want to help the world. You know what I mean? Like I just
Hmm.
want to help people. And then when I don't, so when I do something, or like I put something out, like if I put energy out into the world, like if I put something out into the world and then it doesn't get like what I thought like reciprocated back, and then I'm
Mm.
like, what did I do? Like, is it
Yeah.
not enough? Like, did I not put enough energy into it? Like, is everyone like not receptive?
Hmm.
Like, is it me? Like, I'm like really hard on myself.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I've had to work on. Because and as I've like been on my spiritual path, and been more alignment and like my higher self always comes in and she's always like, no, like you know who you are, like you
Hmm.
know that you're doing enough, like it's like you're fine. But for a long time, it was not like that. And I
Yeah.
think that was more prevalent when I was in my addiction with alcohol.
Hmm.
So that was just like that time was wild. Like that was just a really I don't know who she was. And that's another thing that I've had to work through is going back to that version of Annie and
Yeah.
having a lot of compassion and having a lot of
Sure.
sympathy for
Yeah.
her. So,
What period of your life were you battling your addiction with alcohol?
it was after college.
After college. Okay, so like the
Yeah.
like 22 to like 20 something range.
22 to like 27,
22. Okay, so that's a bit of time. That's about 5 years.
half a
Um,
decade. Yeah.
half a decade. When did you realize that maybe alcohol was not a positive thing in your life?
Oh, I knew for a long
You knew
time.
for a
I
long
knew
time.
for a long time that it was not a positive thing in my life. Yeah.
What? Yeah.
I knew for a long time, and I tried like it's actually funny that you asked me that now because a couple weeks ago
Hmm.
I had like a revelation where I was like, wow, going back and looking at all the like certain memories from that time,
Yeah.
because it was an everyday thing. Like I was drinking every day, all day, like at work, on the job.
Were you
Like it
drinking in the
was
morning?
yeah, and like
Yeah.
I would have it got so bad to the point where I would have to because if I didn't, I would start getting
The
the
shakes.
shakes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was really really bad.
Definitely.
Like my alarm would go off, and I was working a job where it was like 11, 10, 11, sometimes 12-hour days. Um,
Was this the
and that was
restaurant industry?
huh?
Was this restaurant industry?
No, this was this was the car rental industry.
Car rental. Okay, with that something I'm gonna. So, anyways, you were drinking in the morning, working 12, 16-hour days.
Yeah, well, not 16 hours. Like the max was like 12-hour
Oh, okay.
days.
Still
But
crazy
still,
amount.
it was like 60 to 70 hours a week. It was a
No.
lot. And like my drinking was already like had been like a thing before then.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So it just got worse, especially during that job. And I was looking back just on that specific time in my life when I
Hmm.
was working that job, and I was like, wow, there were so many cries for help that I didn't even realize were cries for help.
Hmm.
Um, and like so like I knew it was a problem,
Yeah.
and unconsciously I was like waiting for someone to say something,
Right. Right.
and unfortunately that did not happen.
Yeah.
So,
Did you
but
have a
I did
lot
have to.
of? Go ahead.
Oh, good.
Did you have a lot of like enablers and negative people around you in that time that were perpetuating that behavior, or did you feel very isolated?
No, I was trying to hide it from a lot of
Got it.
people.
So you were very functional with it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was literally a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah. Got it. So you
Yeah,
were still going to work, still great performing. Did you have any
yeah.
romantic relationships during this time?
I did. Yeah.
Got it. Did they share your, I guess, affiliation with alcohol, or something you kept from them as well?
One one of my exes,
Hmm.
because my drinking actually started like right when I was dating this ex,
Hmm.
and it got worse during that. Like that's when it started getting worse during that relationship.
Yeah.
And they knew that I had a problem towards the end of our relationship, and my friends knew
Yeah.
that I had a problem. Like, but no one really said anything.
Right. Right.
Um, and so after we broke up, my those friends kind of like quote unquote took their side.
Oh.
So I lost like all my friends
Yeah.
from that relationship.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Um, huh?
I said I'm so sorry.
No, I mean it
No.
was hard at the time, but like
Sure.
honestly, I feel like I'm at a really good place now where it was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was really, really hard.
Mhm.
but I mean, it needed to happen to get to
Totally.
where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't really hold any grudges against those people. I hope
Sure.
they're doing well. Like,
Yeah.
no
They're
shade. Like, I just really hope they're
they're no
doing well.
friends of yours, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, at the time, like they weren't really friends. You know,
Yeah.
they weren't really good friends. But I was also not really my best version of myself during
Right.
that time.
Right. Right.
So and then another relationship. This was kind of a different relationship. We started dating when I was working at Enterprise.
Mhm.
And this was someone that I've known since I was like 14. Like we went to the same, like we both of our families like went to the same church growing up. And we had always kind of had like an on again, off again, like throughout the years. It was like one of those relationships. Um, like we just like there's so many like we had liked each
Mhm.
other, and like there were so many times where it was like we like will they like are they gonna date, or
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
they not, and then like we would like
Regular
so follow up
Ross and Rachel.
kind of, yeah, because we did date like other people like in
Mhm.
between, like we actual relationships. And then
Mhm.
randomly like it, weirdly enough, he texted me the day after Valentine's Day, I think, on like in 2018.
Love that.
20,
Love
no,
that.
2019.
Love it.
Yeah. I would say
Hey, how you doing
maybe
after that?
what?
How you doing after that? Valentine's Day, how you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
You
How
feeling
was that
low?
for you?
Yeah.
There was I want to say his name, but like I'm not sure if like
Let's do
all I'll,
fake. Let's come up with nicknames.
all I'll say is his. I think this is gonna probably get away. All I'll say is that his name starts with a K.
Okay, got it.
There you go.
Well, I don't think
So
we don't have like an incredibly broad reach, so I would be surprised if they saw it. But we can whatever level you're comfortable with. But I would say in general, like yeah, fake names is probably for the best.
okay, well I just gave the first letter, so
Okay,
whatever.
we'll call
That's
him
fine.
Kangaroo Guy.
I don't like that.
Okay, never mind. We'll call him Keith.
Well, I'll just say my ex. I'll just say my
Your
ex or
ex,
him.
yeah, your ex, him. Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
Got it.
So he randomly texted me, and I had to ask who it was because I didn't have his number saved in my phone. That's how
Wow.
long it had been since we had talked.
And he's like, it's
Um,
Keith.
huh?
And he's like, it's me, it's Keith.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Keith. Exactly. And so we connected and
Mhm.
like really, really
Oh,
hit it off, and
okay.
like finally started like dating. And it was like I feel like it was kind of like a big deal in in a certain friend group that we grew up with. Like people were
Yeah.
messaging us that like we had like been to like high school friends with,
Mhm,
and they were like,
mhm.
"Oh my god, you guys are finally dating! Like it's about time."
Wow.
Um, and so, but it was really, really short, um, because of my drinking.
Right.
And I'm sure he could tell like there was something wrong with my behavior. There was
Mhm.
something off, but he couldn't say anything. Um, so super honesty time.
Hit
When
us.
we broke up, this was an ex who he kind of broke up with me like abruptly. Well, kind of abruptly, like out of the blue. A couple weeks before, he had like talked about like wanting to break up, so I guess it shouldn't have come as a surprise. But at first, he did it over the phone, so I was like, "I'm meeting you in person. Like this is bullshit. Like I'm not breaking up with you over the phone." So we met in person,
Yeah.
and of course, I was drinking, so I was under the influence, and
Oof.
my behavior was just erratic,
Yeah.
and uh, he he was I kept asking him like, what is it that I have done, why are you doing this, da, 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 da. And I
Yeah.
kept like hounding him, and he wouldn't give me an answer. And I just wanted to
Yeah.
know, so it was like, if it's me, like I want to know so I can like fix it.
Right. Right.
um and the only thing he said was, I don't like who you are as a person. He said that to my face,
Ooh.
and that was just like a slap across the face. But at the time, I mean, obviously at the time, like it hurt to hear that.
Mhm.
But like I get it. I didn't like I was a very sad person during that time.
Yeah. He
And I
he
tried.
could have worded it very differently though.
He could have,
He
yeah.
could have
Like he said,
said, when you drink, you become a different person, and I frankly
well,
don't enjoy that
he didn't
person.
he didn't know that I had a drinking problem.
Got it. Yeah. Still
Yeah,
though. Still, that's kind of.
yeah,
Yeah.
it sucked.
I imagine.
But well, we actually like reconciled, and we can talk
That's
about
good.
that. Yeah. So I was just like, are you kidding me? because my thought process was like, motherfucker, you've known me since I was 14.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you don't like me as a person?
Mhm.
But I mean, obviously I was a different person. And
Right.
so I was just like, what do you mean? And then he wouldn't say. He was like, all he said was like the actions, the decisions. He's like, I don't think the decisions, the choices you make are great. And that's pretty much all I got out of it, or all I remember.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
remember like throwing his jacket at him and like telling him to get out, and then I just left. So that relationship also. And then there was another friendship / romantic interest
Mhm.
that ended. That was really dramatic. That was dramatic as hell. Because like that was just like, so this guy, and I'm pretty sure this guy was the reason why Keith broke up with me. Like part of the
Ooh,
reason why.
okay.
Because this guy, we'll call him Tony.
Tony and Keith, love it.
Yes, we'll call him Tony. I met him because he started working at the car rental agency that he's whatever.
They yeah, hint, they pick you up.
If you're thinking about working at Enterprise, don't do it. I'm not joking. Do not do it.
That's my recommendation for most places I've worked, and even like my college, low key.
Yeah, don't do it. It's not worth it. So we met. He started working at Enterprise a few months after I started working, and we hit it off. Like,
ooh,
really.
All right. Tony was a little bit of a charmer.
No, it wasn't even that. It was just like our personalities. Like we just clicked really well.
Yeah.
Like, we like instantly, because he was there the first day I met him. He was there for an interview, but he was there. I knew which interview he was there for. He was there for the second interview. The second interview is when you go and observe an hour in the branch that you would be working at to see what it's like.
Okay.
So he was going to be working at our branch, and when I saw him, I didn't know if he was a customer or if he was just like, I don't know, because he was dressed in a suit, and I was like, customers don't usually wear suits to pick up their cars.
Right.
But I saw him, and of course I was like, wow, he is very
hot.
good looking.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay.
Oh, 100%. Anyone named Tony is either like the hottest person ever, or you're just like, please don't look at me.
Exactly. See,
I know my Tonys.
So, and and I was kind of like me. It was me and like my area manager, who was like 2 managers above me.
So you called dibs.
Well, yeah, so it was just the 2 of us kind of like running the front.
Right.
So I was kind of like, I kind of like got to like show off my skills a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Everybody loves seeing someone in their environment.
Yeah, I guess. Well, not that environment. No, never again. So he comes walking up, and I just like automatically straightened up because oh, hello.
Oh,
And
okay, yeah.
I was like, are you here to pick up a car? And he was like, no, he like puts his hand out, and he's like, I'm Tony. And I was like, I'm Annie. Nice to meet you. And he's like, I'm here for the interview. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, come around. Like, you don't have to stand out in the lobby. And so we spent like the majority of that hour observation together, because my manager was, I don't know, in a meeting or something else, so we couldn't really like talk to him. It's a very, very, very busy, fast-paced environment. Seriously, do not work for that company.
And sparks were flying.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So not even like that. Not even that stack. Like, it wasn't like romantic.
Yeah, it was
we
like soul bond.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we really, and then so when they go up to, when you have the second interview, there's obviously the third, and then after that you get the job, you spend 2 days at the branch, and then the next week you go up to training in Orange County, and then after that week of training you come back, and then you're actually working in that branch. So the 2 days, like, he came after he got the job, the 2 days he came to work in the branch, we spent a lot of time together, because there's only so many people that work in that little building.
Sure.
And so we would spend a lot of time like going on drop-offs and like pickups, like going to get cars, from getting like oil changes, whatever. And we were just like, we really vibed. Like, and I remember one specific moment where like we were driving a car back from one of the dealerships, and I said a joke or something, and he started laughing. He thought it was hilarious. I was like, I didn't think it was that. I think I'm funny. I was like, I didn't think it was
you were very funny.
Oh, thank you. So he starts laughing, and then he just says out loud, he's like, man, I really like you. He's like, we get along really well. And I was like, I know, this is weird. And then, okay, so this might have been like a little too much.
You made out right then and there.
No,
Oh, okay.
no,
But sorry, you said
um,
it maybe it's a little too much. That's where my mind went.
no. I'm talking about. Never mind.
Okay.
Anyways,
Sorry. Yeah. Keep going.
so he was at training up in Orange County,
Right.
and we had each other's phone numbers because that's just you just have to have everyone's phone number when you work there because
You
you always
surely do.
you always have to have your phone on you.
Yeah.
So he had my phone number when he was up at training, and he was like texting. He was like, I was like, how's it going? And he was like, it's going really well. And then that week, so when you work 6 days a week, you always have to work like at least one weekend day when you work there. So if you work on a weekend,
Mhm.
then you get like a half day in the middle of the week. So that week that he was up at training, I had a half day. I think it was like on a Thursday or something. So I got off at like 12:30. Um, he was like, "You should come up to Orange County like when I'm done with training, and like we can walk around like downtown Disney." And I was like, "Okay." I had a annual pass, so I was
Yeah.
like, "Why not?"
Can't say no to
Um,
a Disney date.
it wasn't a date.
Now, yeah, but from the loose sense of the term, a meeting
Hangout.
up with a hangout. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's just the alliteration. Yeah, Disney hangout doesn't sound as good as a Disney date.
Yeah, Disney hangout. Because it
Okay.
wasn't even actually in the park. It was like in downtown Disney.
It was totally platonic. We got you at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
But okay, so got up there, and then I should have checked. I don't know why. I don't know. I didn't check because I didn't think the park was going to close this early. But I got up there, and everything was shut down by like 5:30, and I was like,
Mm.
"What?
Mhm.
Why is that happening?" So I texted him, and I was like, "Everything's closed. Like, what do we do?" And he was like, "Well, there's a bunch of stuff to do like in that area anyway."
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we went and got food, and then when we went and got dinner, that was when we kind of like admitted that we had like a little crush on each other.
Yeah,
So then
after spending 8 hours together.
it turned into a date.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was when like the physical like I guess romantic interest started.
Ooh,
And
okay.
then a few weeks into that, he was like, because he was also okay. I'm like telling way too much about myself here. It's okay.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Whatever.
We're enjoying writing this story with you.
Oh, good. Am I talking too much? I feel like I'm talking too much.
Literally, the point of this is for us to chat together. So I think it is physically impossible for you to chat too much.
Okay.
I think we should be worried about chatting too little.
That would be a bad thing. Yeah. No one wants
No,
dead air.
you're doing great. Look, somebody said we are enraptured with Annie. Please go on.
Oh, thanks.
Guys,
Okay.
let's all take a minute to compliment Annie, say our favorite thing about her content or her
No.
current stories, and we're gonna continue chatting. But
If you do
we'll
that,
pepper those in.
do it because I can't see the chat, but don't read them out loud because I literally will start crying. So
Okay,
so
we will not read them out loud.
okay. So a few weeks into it, so revealing too much about myself. I I don't know why this is a thing.
Mhm.
I have a tendency to just like attract like partners, people who are slightly younger, just a few years younger.
Okay.
So at that time, I was 25. I
Yeah.
was 25, and he was 22, and he had
Okay.
just graduated college.
You got that I guess hot cougar energy, if that can be classified as a cougar for 3 hours or 3 years.
Zachary, it is hardly cougar energy.
I think that's a good thing. I strive to have DILF energy, and in fact, I think the mustache is getting me closer than I've ever been. You know, so I think it's a good thing to be a cougar. It shows that like you are hip, you're with it, you are able to transcend generational gaps. I think you got to be a little bit more savvy, you got a little smarter, you got to be witty.
Okay. That sounds better when you say it like that.
You're right. That's not 3 years is not cougar. Cougar is like I feel like is like 9+ years. So, anyways, you have a propensity to attract younger partners. You said
Yes. So because he had literally just graduated and like moved out here to San Diego, he was like in a lot of stress. Like he's in a new
Sure.
job,
Yeah.
and so he was just like, I don't think I'm like ready for a relationship. And I was like, bummer, but okay.
Yeah.
I get it, but it was still hard because we had to work together and because we got along so well.
Yeah.
Um,
How was the sex?
We did not have sex. We never had sex.
Oh, that that adds another layer of like to it.
Yeah.
Because you never got that like kind of I guess like this is a weird word to say, but like release. You didn't get to have like I feel like at least with those types of
No.
things.
I mean, no, we had that opportunity for the release.
Sure,
Don't
I'm
get
sure, yeah, but you never like committed and had it, so I feel like that just adds a layer of like, I guess like energy
Well,
to the relationship.
honestly, that wasn't like as big of a deal to me. Like I honestly, all I really cared about was just like having some sort of relationship with him because of
Right,
how much I just like liked having him in my life.
right. So you continued
So
to work together, but decided not to
yeah, we
pursue
continued to
anything
work together.
romantic.
Exactly. But it was hard because we got along so well. And
Sure.
I think just because because we got along so well, because we were so similar, we just like, we knew
Hmm.
exactly what to say to make the other person pissed off, like just slightly irritated.
Oh,
There were,
all right. I'm
there were
not
so
liking the
many
turn this is taking.
I know. Well, there were so many moments where where like my assistant manager had to like sit both of us down and she was like, this cannot be a thing anymore. Like the hostility has to stop.
Ooh, you
And
got so it got
so
hostile.
there was one incident where it got like pretty hostile
Got
and
it.
pretty like
So
noticeable,
what was
like
the
the vibe
transition?
was
Because
pretty.
we just left off with beautiful date, decided to be friends, can't have a relationship. So then did it slowly start to degrade into something negative because you guys both wanted to be? So
No,
what was that
okay.
transition?
So it was, and then I think like around like the new year, we just kind of like, I don't know, let it go, I guess.
Okay.
So we were in like January of 2019. And then in February of 2019 was when I dated my ex Keith.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Here's the weird thing though, is that
Mm-hmm.
when Keith and I were dating,
Mm-hmm.
um, Tony and our friendship got instantly better. Instantly better. Like
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
actually started like hanging out more outside after
Yeah.
work
Once you
again.
became unavailable.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm picking up on your shit, Tony.
Yeah, so we instantly started like hanging out again.
Yeah.
Um and I kind of like let it affect like my relationship with Keith,
Yeah. Yeah.
because there was one night, and this is the stuff that I own up. This is the shadow work. This is the stuff that I
Sure.
own up to.
Yeah. We have to.
This is the
Yeah.
stuff that I own up to. So I went out with Keith. Also, I'm just like a storyteller. I'm sorry guys. I have a writing degree. Like
Okay,
I just like
I'm reading you these
talking.
comments, so you stop apologizing. I love the
No,
brilliant energy and openness she brings, completely enthralled. This is absolutely delightful. So glad you got Annie on this podcast. Annie's whole vibe is so genuinely kind. I like her curly hair, looks pretty. I like her
oh,
outfit, it really complements her hair. MILFs and DILFs have a confidence I strive for.
Zach, I'm
Annie,
gonna
is
start
your
crying.
hair
Stop.
naturally curly? Okay, I will stop reading, but anytime you apologize for being your naturally engaging self that we are all enjoying, I'm gonna do this. So if you're not gonna stop that behavior of being mean to yourself, I'm gonna do something you don't like, which is force compliments on you.
This is positive punishment. I feel
It's
weird.
positive. That's me. I'm like, I do that with my friends. I'm like, you better stop being fucking nice to yourself, or I'm gonna positively punish you. I will get up on this bar right now. I have to threaten my buddy Jesse all the time when we're like out in public, because he'll say something and like I'll compliment him and he'll like do it. And I'm like, Jesse, I will get up on this bar right now and I will get this entire audience chanting your name. I will do it if you don't accept this compliment. And I would. That is 100%
See,
something I would do.
you know what that is, Zach?
What?
That is Leo energy. All y'all, that is Leo energy right there.
I feel like you're the only person that's made me proud to be a Leo. That's true.
What? No, that can't be true.
It is, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Because I feel like I didn't understand it. People, and that's why I didn't talk about it, because people were just like, they're full of themselves. They have to be the center of attention. And I was like, I don't feel like that at all. Like, of course I like telling stories and I love
Well,
having an audience, but
also you have a Sagittarius moon, and
I do,
Sagittarius
yeah.
is also like second to Leo when it comes to like hype man. So
I just like supporting people.
there you go.
Okay, so anyways, you let the relationship with Tony start affecting your relationship with Keith, and
Yeah.
we're mixing in. This is like the height of the addiction.
Yes,
Yeah.
actually, kind of.
Yeah.
It's getting there. It's actually no, it's getting there.
Okay.
So one night, and I had introduced. Okay, this was the reason why it became muddled was because I introduced Keith to Tony and all of
Ooh.
my enterprise friends.
Oh, you mixed the
So
worlds. You Hannah Montana'd
did.
it.
I did. So I Hannah Montana did.
I was like, are we just gonna let that one? Okay.
I was like, I've literally never heard that in that context before. In a verb.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Anyways, yeah.
So
So you mix the worlds.
I did. And then one night this was like a few weeks before Keith and I actually broke up.
Okay.
So one night it was me and Keith, Tony, and then like 3 of our other girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
And we all went out to some bars in San Diego.
Yeah. Oh, did you tell me the story of one of your girlfriends that like hooked up with Keith? Was this that story?
No. Oh, no, different. That's a different story.
Okay. So you went out to a couple bars in San Diego.
Yeah, so we went out to a couple bars in San Diego. So we like obviously like we're bar hopping, but like at the very first bar, and because I had already like been drinking, of course.
Sure.
At the very first bar, it's just me and like the Enterprise friends that really. Oh, and you know what's interesting is that one of the friends that ended up joining us that night was also someone that me and Keith knew from our time, like in high school, from this church that we went to.
Okay, so you had a whole lot of energies, a lot of different stages of your life were merging on this evening.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So I'm gonna fast forward to the end of the night.
Okay.
So at the end of the night, we go back to Keith's house. I was an emotional mess.
Right. Drunk. As well.
Emotional mess. And we stopped and got food. We go to the kitchen and Keith looks at me and the only thing that he says out of his mouth is, "So what's going on with you and Tony?" And I like froze and I was like, "What do you mean?" So backtrack. The third bar that we went to,
you and Tony did karaoke together and there was not a dry eye in the place.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
There was like music playing, of course, so everyone was dancing.
Yeah.
And Tony and I got very, very close to each other when we were dancing. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Nothing happened because Tony and I were looking at each other at the exact same time. He said, "I don't think this is a good idea." And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Bye." And like, we both like separated instantly. And then I went to the bathroom and that's when I like had my like breakdown. And my girlfriend from high school came to me because she knew me the most. She knew me the best out of those girls. And she was just like, "Annie, like you just got to choose. Like you just got to choose." And because she knew, she could see, everyone could see, because later that night he was like, "What's going on with you and Tony?"
Ooh.
So at that time in the kitchen, I was like, "What do you mean?" I denied it. I was like, "Nothing's going on with me and Tony. Like nothing has." I said, "Nothing has happened with me and Tony since we have dated." That's what I said, because nothing had. That was the only. That was like the worst that he had seen. Still not okay. Still not okay. So then a few weeks later, like Keith broke up with me. So yeah, I'm sure that was part of the reason why.
I'm sure, yeah.
But after Keith and I broke up, I called Tony, and I could hear in his voice instantly became distant. Instantly became distant.
Oh my gosh, Tony.
And then that was in May of 2019, and then Tony and I kind of texted back and forth a little bit, like the communication kind of like started dying down.
Yeah.
The last time we spoke was August of 2019.
Okay, got it.
This is kind of like the peak, like this is kind of like the climax moment.
Yes, yeah.
So we
and when did you become sober?
I became sober February 4th, 2020.
2020. Okay, got it. So this is on the tail end of that.
Yes.
Got it. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Just over 14 months. It's the 25th.
I know. I actually thought that today. I was like, it's almost the 4th. Oh, May the 4th. Oh my God. That's going to be great. So anyways, August of 2019 was literally a life changer.
Yeah. And my birthday.
What?
And my birthday.
Oh, that's right, Leo. Yes.
See, that's how we knew.
Yes, there we go. So, anyways.
Yeah.
Focus, Annie. August 2019.
Yes. Last time you spoke.
Last time we spoke. So August 2019, in the middle, actually smack dab in the middle of August 15th, 2019.
That's literally my birthday.
Are you? Zach, are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
Tell us about the day. Tell us about August 15th, 2019. And I'll tell you about my August 15th. You go first.
Well, it had nothing to do with Tony then,
Okay, that's fine. Tell us about the day.
but that was my wake up call from my addiction.
Wow, on my birthday. What are the odds?
Well,
1 in
because
364.
yeah, it was not fun though because
Yeah.
I got arrested for a DUI.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh
So
gosh.
that's something that like I had to like confront. You know, when I
Definitely.
remember what I said earlier when I was like I kept waiting for like someone to reach out, and
The
like no one
law
did.
did.
Yeah. Well, the universe did. The law was
Yeah.
just there like doing its job.
Yeah.
So so I
Were
got
you
arrested for a
okay?
DUI. Huh? Yeah, no.
Okay.
That's the thing is like no one was hurt. And
Yeah.
here's the thing too. Like here's why like the DUI in my eyes is like literally a cosmic slap on the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many times in my addiction that like
Yeah.
so much worse did and should have happened.
Totally. Yeah.
So no one was hurt, no one was damaged. Nothing was damaged. So
Good.
that was just like that was a rough night. That
Were
was
you
a
just
real
like swerving and the cop pulled you over?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was late, but it was just like
Did they
it was
take you
bad.
downtown?
They actually took me to a facility in Santee. It was like a women's facility in Santee.
Oh, okay, got it. What was
Yeah.
the and we can come back to this so we don't have to talk about what's the DUI process like legally and financially?
Horrible.
I bet.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Literally, I shit you not. This is like a message. Like seriously, do not drink and drive. I shit you not.
No,
I shit
it's
you not.
there's no reason to, guys. If anyone's listening, like we all make mistakes, but like your life is worth so much more, whatever the cost of the Uber is, and whatever inconvenience the next day. Like think of how lame, honestly, it would be if you died for like $80 in like a few hours in the morning to get back to your car.
Yeah,
Or even
literally.
worse, you could hurt someone else.
Yeah, exactly. And like there were times like that's what I'm saying is like there are times when someone should have been hurt, someone should have been in the hospital. See,
Yeah.
if I'm being frank, someone should have been dead. Like someone should have been dead.
It's I've had a few evenings where I've gotten behind the wheel. Very few in my life, but where I like woke up the next day and I was like, I was not okay, Zachary.
There were times, I'm being super truthful. There were times where I would wake up the next morning and be like, I don't remember driving home, but I know I did.
I've never blacked out, but because I want to reciprocate your vulnerability and honesty. My relationship with like booze and alcohol is fine. It's not something I do often. It's like more of a social thing for me, which I'm super thankful for, especially given like my family's like genetic and historical. But there's been a time, and I haven't done a lot of cocaine in my life, but I've done like a little bit. There's been a few times, especially when cocaine's involved, that I've like driven home and I'm like, you're high on cocaine, brother. Like you can't do that. But cocaine specifically makes you feel like you can, especially if you like stop drinking at like 2 a.m. and now it's 7 a.m. So it's like maybe so it's, don't do it, guys.
I never did cocaine. I did it twice and once was like nothing. Like I wasn't like, I didn't feel anything. So didn't do anything for me. But anyway, so the DUI process, horrible, like from start to finish, it's horrible.
Yeah.
The best part of it is when you finally hear from your attorney, like that everything's over and like your case is closed and everything.
So what is the process now? Because it takes like 10 years to get expunged from your record, right?
No. So actually, my process compared to others was actually very easy because
there was no damage.
That night that I spent in jail, I'm sure you know this term. Like you said, you kind of grew up in a Christian home, right?
Yeah, or sort of, yeah, but San Diego.
Okay. I'm sure like you've heard this term, like the come to Jesus moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like I kind of had that moment when I was like in my jail cell, where I was like, I get it. Like I'm done. Like I'm done. Clearly it would still take another 6 months for me. Oh, that was another relationship. Huh? Another relationship. Okay, that's coming up. Or we can come back to that.
Mm-hmm.
So
this was 2019. So it took another 6 months before you became sober.
But actually stopped drinking. Yeah.
Got it. Were you in that 6 months? Were you trying to, and was there kind of some backsliding, or had you just not started your journey yet?
In that 6 months, I was still kind of trying to.
Okay.
Yeah, I was still kind of trying to.
Got it.
And then it was that relationship that actually kind of like woke things up, and I was
right.
I'm done. So The DUI process.
Hmm.
You spend the night in jail, and then seriously, the worst part about this whole process is having to call your parent, having to call your mother at 3 in the morning, and saying that you need her to come bail you out because you got arrested for drunk driving.
Oh
That
my
is the
God.
worst phone call that you have to make.
I don't know if I would. I think I would wait. Can you wait it out?
Well, I was like, I'm not calling a bail bondsman. Like, I'm not spending the night here. Like, I want to get out here as soon as possible.
No.
Well, the thing is too is like, in order like for anyone to like even be available, it was in the middle of the night. So like when I called my mom, she was like, I can't even get to the bank until it opens at 8 o'clock. And so, but I didn't even, right. That's kind of like when I got moved to my jail cell was around that time anyways. So, so you get arrested, they take you in,
Hmm.
they book you, you have to do all these samples, they ask you all these questions about like your medical history, are
Yeah.
you pregnant, do you have any like whatever, and then you spend the night in the drunk tank pretty
Yeah.
much. So there's like there were a few other women that were there.
Did you chat with anybody?
um, no, everyone's miserable,
Yeah, I
everyone's
bet.
tired, and like there was one woman there that was like pregnant, and she was, I don't know what she was there for,
Oh my
but she was
gosh.
arrested there. And no one there cares about you, like at least in this facility, like the officers don't care about you, like they just
Totally.
let you sit there. And then like over the period so I got arrested around like 2 in the morning, I think.
Hmm.
um and so I was 1:30 or 2, and so around like 3 was when I finally like called my mom. So from 3 to 8, that 5-hour period was just like miserable
I
because you're
bet.
just like there's nowhere to like really like lie down. There's just like chairs with like metal bars in between them.
Yeah.
So it's really uncomfortable trying to sleep. And then they book your like when they book your fingerprints. So they had to book my they had to book my fingerprints twice because the first time the officer was an ass.
Hmm.
Um, and like I went there and like, he was just like I don't know, he just said something and I put my finger down. He was like, no, not that way, the other way. And I was like, I did do it that way. And then he just took it one step further and he was like, what's your problem? And I was like, I'm kind of miserable right now. Like I said that to him. And he was like, do me a favor, go walk over there, sit down. We'll do this later. And I was like, fine, turned around and I was like, asshole. I just like sat down. That's my white privilege showing right there. Yeah. So anyways, lie back down. I kept calling my mom like to see like what the status update was. And she just kept saying like, Annie, I can't get to the bank until 8, and so you'll have to wait until then.
Hmm.
So I got moved to my cell at like around 8:30 in the morning. So and then 8:30 in the morning, like 9 o'clock. Well, then when they actually like move you from that place to the cell, they take you through this whole process where you actually have to put on like the jail clothes. That that process, the strip search, is
Oh, I bet.
humiliating,
Yeah.
humiliating. Like literally, seriously, guys, like let this be a lesson.
Hmm.
Um, so they do that, and then they have you like walk one person in front of the other, like as
Yeah.
they move you from the drunk tank to like the cell.
Okay.
And this woman that was pregnant, um, she was walking in front of me,
Hmm.
and they have like all of our last names. And so one of the officers that was walking behind us, she yelled at this woman who was pregnant, and she was like whatever her last name was, walk faster. And the woman just like shot back. She was like, hey, I'm pregnant. And then the officer was like, that doesn't mean you can't walk any faster. And then like it was just, I was like, I don't know, I was like, that's really shitty. It
Yeah.
sucks. So and they put you in your individual cell.
Hmm.
But from that time until like I was around like maybe I want to say around noon,
Hmm.
that was kind of like when I was bailed out. So
Yeah.
the reason it took so long was because that's just how long the bail process takes. Like
Yeah.
it could take anywhere between like an hour to like 3 hours. Like it just depends on how
Hmm.
busy they are, how quick they can get it through. So I remember sitting in my jail cell and being like, oh my God, like where is my mom?
Yeah. Totally.
Where is she? And that was when I had like my moment. I was like, I get it. Like
Yeah.
I get it. I'm yes, I'm done, even though
Yeah.
I wasn't really done.
Right. Right.
So
How
and
was the
then
car ride with your mother when she picked you up?
well, it was so that's the thing. So I remember like the officer comes from a window, she's like, Buell, like you're being bailed out. And so she was like, get your things. And I was like, what things? I don't have any things. You took them all. I think it was she just meant like the toiletries or whatever they gave us, whatever. So I change my clothes, do the whole like really long like walking like out thing, go to the lobby, and it's not just my mom, it's my dad, who had left from his business trip in LA to drive down because of this,
Ooh.
and my sister who had flown in the night before to surprise me. So it was
The
like,
timing of that.
yeah. So it was like pretty much all the only person that wasn't there was like my brother.
Did they
Um,
take you to your house, or were you, because you weren't living with them, right, at this time?
I was living with them at this
Oh,
time.
okay, got it. So
Yeah.
you went back
So,
with them.
well, we had to go pick up my car first.
Yes.
So
Was it impounded or something?
it was impounded. So I had to pay for that. I also had to pay back my mother for
Yeah.
the bail fees.
How much was the bail, if you don't mind sharing? If you
Uh,
remember.
I think it was like $2,500.
That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's just the bail. Like, there's
Yeah.
not all like the court fees and the legal process and everything.
Yeah. Don't they estimate that like the average cost of a DUI, isn't it like 10K, 15K?
I'm pretty sure.
Or
No,
maybe
I'm pretty
more.
sure. I know I will probably spend at least $15,000 because of this
Yeah.
DUI.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I went broke. It will make you go broke
Oh yeah, definitely.
if you don't manage your money well, which at that time I was not.
Right.
So, um, so that was like we had to go get my car, and then but my dad and my sister
Yeah.
drove my car back, and then I drove with my mom home. And that was that conversation. She was very gentle. I mean, she was my mom. Like
Yeah.
she was just very like she was concerned, but she was just very gentle. And like that's when she asked me. She was like, "Annie, do you think you have a problem with alcohol?" And I was like, I know I have a problem with that. I've known for a long time that I've had a problem with alcohol. Um, and I think and like my parents knew. Like I was living with them at this time. Like
Yeah.
during like, for like almost 3 years I was living with them,
Mm-hmm.
in my 20s, like, consecutively. So, my parents knew, like, I'm their daughter, like, they can tell. Like,
Yeah.
my dad told me, he was like, "Annie, like, I'm your dad, and, like, I take out the trash, like, I can see the bottles, like, in your garbage bags that you take out." So
Yeah.
anyways,
But
but so driving home.
they never said anything prior.
No. No. Huh?
Like prior to all this, like,
No, they
he had
didn't.
seen the bottles, but he never had a conversation with you about it.
No, they never had a conversation.
Hmm.
They did tell like they were like, of course, because like my parents are Christian.
Yeah.
They did tell me that they were praying for me a lot
Love
because they had
that.
a feeling.
Love it.
Um, so I mean, my parents are good people. My parents are
Yeah.
really good people.
Yeah. They love you.
So,
They love you. They support you
yeah, absolutely.
in their own
And of
way.
course, my dad also being a police officer and like seeing this, like I'm sure he was just like it. My dad is so I look like my mom, but
Hmm.
my whole, like, emotional side, I get act from my dad. My dad is a
Got
very
it.
like, my dad's a
Was
softie.
he able to
Um,
grease the wheels at all when you were in
was he
prison?
what?
Was he able to grease the wheels while you were in there? Like, was he able to throw around his badge at all?
No, no, because he had just come down from LA, like, he just drove down, straight
Oh,
down.
okay. Got it.
So, but he knew, like I mean, he had some idea of, like, what that process is probably like.
Sure. Definitely.
So, uh but the day like, I got home, and within, like, 24 hours,
Hmm.
I completely just, like, took it upon myself. I contacted a lawyer. I knew that I had to,
Hmm.
contact the DMV. I
Right.
knew that I had to enroll in a DUI offender program.
Right.
So, I knew I had to contact my insurance. So, I was doing all of this, like, literally within, like, 48 hours, I had all of this taken care of, and I was actually so fast with the DMV within that 30 days that my license was actually never suspended from the DMV. Like
Wow.
I always had like some sort of like restricted license or
Right. Right.
the kind of like so I did have a restricted license. And this is why you don't want to get a DUI. So everything sucks when you
It
have a
sounds like
DUI.
it.
So I knew that I had because of the type of license that I had with the DUI.
Yeah.
It's called a restricted, at least in California, I-99 license. What that
I-99. Okay.
Yeah, what that means is that you can drive. So if I didn't have that, the only time I would have been able to drive my car with the DMV would be to and from work, like home, work, home, and that's it. And I was like, absolutely not. Like I have places, I have groceries. Like
Yeah.
I need to go. So like
Wow. So you never got suspended whatsoever.
never got suspended. I was just on a restricted license.
Hmm.
So
Was that because of the severity of your DMV was kind of on the lighter side? Like, obviously, if there's criminal charges, they don't let you do that.
no, I think I was just so quick with the process. Like I took it really seriously. I took it
Hmm.
really seriously.
Yeah.
So I um So I contacted the DMV. So an
Hmm.
I-99 license, that means you can drive a vehicle anywhere you want, but it has to be your vehicle.
Yeah.
You have to have what's called, at least in California, I'm not sure about anyone else, you have to have what's called SR22 insurance. It's just additional liability insurance with your car insurance. It's very
Got it.
expensive.
I
Your car
bet.
insurance,
Yeah.
your car insurance rates will go up, guys. Like,
Through the roof.
yeah,
My
yeah,
last roommate had a DUI.
yeah,
And it was we would talk about it. His insurance was through the roof, and I think last year or 2 years ago he finally hit the like 10-year mark and it got expunged. Yeah, 10
yeah.
years, guys, and $15,000 is on the cheaper end. Some
Yes.
depending on the circumstances, it can get up to 50,000 or even more.
And that's only if you have one. Like, some people have multiple DUIs.
Yeah, you
Like,
can lose your license forever,
yeah,
and
seriously.
you can do hard jail time
Yeah, and
because
that's
it's a
if you
felony.
don't
Yeah,
if
DUI is
you
a
don't
felony.
injure any that's just if you don't injure anyone.
Yes, yeah, because
So,
it's a felony, right? Isn't all,
it's mine was a misdemeanor. Mine's a
yours?
misdemeanor.
Okay, yours was. Yeah,
Yeah. So, because, and this is what I'm explaining, like, because
yeah.
my case was, my whole process was much simpler than I think most people's, because I was
Right,
just on top of it.
right.
So, I-99, you can drive your vehicle. It has to be your vehicle. You have to have the SR22 insurance, and you have to have a breathalyzer installed in your car. That's the thing.
Got
So
it.
the breathalyzer you have to use the breathalyzer to start it.
Start
You
it. Yeah, yeah.
And then the breathalyzer, depending on what kind of, like, which one you have, because there's a couple different, like, brand or companies you can use, I guess. Um, it will go off randomly and while you're driving for random tests,
Hmm.
and you'll have to blow into it. And so the thing is that this breathalyzer is so
Wonky.
sensitive. So there was several times where um I would like have mouthwash, and then I would go into my car and then like blow
Oh.
into it, and it
Hmm.
wouldn't start because of the
Ooh.
alcohol in the mouthwash. There
Yeah.
was one time where I actually got a violation with the breathalyzer because I was going down to see one of my friends, like, driving down, and I sprayed like some body spray in my car, and as I was spraying it, the breathalyzer went off for a random test, and I grabbed it, and but like I took because I had all this alcohol in the body spray, I was like, shit. So I rolled down my windows. I was like turning on the AC, trying to air it out. But I took a big breath of the body spray in my mouth.
Perfume. Yeah.
I took yeah, and it was like my BAC was a .06 when I blew
Ooh.
into that because of the body spray.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. So I got like a violation for that.
Were you
Um,
able to like appeal it?
no, like, I just called like I just called the number, and I was like, is there any way, or like, can I, like, is there, like, and I asked, I was like, is there any way? And they were like, unfortunately, no, like, it's just really sensitive like that. I was like, that's stupid. Like, I said, straight up said that to one time. I was like, that's so dumb. And she was like, I agree. And I was like, I know, I'm sorry. Like, this is just your job. She's like, I
Yeah.
know. But, so, uh, anyways, the breathalyzer sucks. I had it in my car I got it installed in like, no, I got it
Where
installed,
where
huh?
physically is it installed? Is it like on the dash or something?
It's like in like an electrical part, like in the dashboard, yeah.
Got
So
it. So
it's
you have
like
to
a
like
really
lean
long,
over onto your dash to blow into it.
no, it's like a really long wire, and you can just like pick it up. But the thing
I
is
got it.
like
Got
when it goes off when you're driving, you have to just like blow into it when you're driving. The worst is when you're at a stoplight, or when
it.
we get into a parking lot and it goes off as you're parking and you have to blow into it, and there's people around you that are like, why are you blowing into
What
that
are you?
thing? So
Yeah.
like you have to like get creative and like act like you're grabbing a bag on your floor or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like kind of awkward.
Gosh.
But over time, like, you just kind of like get used to it. You're like, it is what it is. Like,
Got
this
it.
is often months.
What a
Um,
journey you went through.
God, yeah. So I got it in October. Oh, 10 months. I had it for 10 months, almost a year.
Wow.
It
Got it.
was brutal.
I bet.
Um, but yeah, so that was, and then the legal process was like, I actually never had to go to court, which was great. I had a really good attorney. So, but my sentencing, my conviction, like whatever, was really light because I had done all these things.
Yeah.
Um,
You showed that
and
you were an outstanding citizen who just made a mistake.
yeah, and I had like letters from like my dad, and I also had like another letter from like a musical mentor of mine that also submitted like to the court. So I think that really helped.
Yeah.
So
Character
actually,
references.
technically in June, if I wanted to, that would be the year and a half mark, because so it's on my record. It's only on my record for 3 years because it's a misdemeanor.
Right. Right.
So, but technically in June, if I wanted to, I could go to the court and appeal and have it
You
expunged,
should.
or yeah, early. Um, so I don't know.
You should. You totally should.
Maybe. I mean, I think the fact maybe that I'm 15 years or 15 years, wow, not yet, 15 months sober, will help, but
Without a doubt. Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah,
Oh.
anyways, that was a really long time for me to talk. Oh my God.
No, thank you for sharing. We enjoyed it, and what I enjoy most about this so far, and we can switch topics. We can keep talking about this, uh, and I'm curious your thoughts. Like, we never know like the impact of our words. You know what I mean? And what will find somebody at a certain time, and that's what I think I enjoy most about content is like almost the like lackadaisicalness in which I just say thoughts and feelings and whatever, and you never know how it's going to be impactful. And I'm sure you get DMs, right? Like there are so many DMs that like have just
Yeah.
I just have sobbed in my house after like reading what they wrote me and stuff. And so thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. And you know, we don't, it's scary to know that when we submit something online, it's online forever, you know, and someone's
Yeah.
gonna jerk off to a photo of my feet. I don't know what could happen. But on the positive side, your story could relate to someone, and you never know. It's totally possible
Yeah.
that someone could stumble across this podcast and they could be legitimately struggling with alcohol or what have you, and
Yeah.
this could be eye opening for them.
The only thing I would say is like, if anyone is like, seriously, do not wait. Like, don't wait for someone to reach
Mhm.
out. Don't wait for something to happen. Like, tell someone. Like, just tell someone that you think you will be able to trust.
Yeah, I agree, guys. Don't, as someone who suffers in silence with almost his entire life, don't do it.
Yeah.
Another piece of shadow work I'm working on,
Ah,
communicating.
there we go.
Yeah,
See, always working. Always working.
100%. That's probably my most, what I find to be the most attractive characteristic in people, both platonically and romantically and whatever, is
Right.
when you can, because you can tell when someone has a commitment to bettering themselves and
Mhm.
understanding why they're doing what they're doing, why they're thinking what they're thinking, how their
Yeah.
actions are affecting others, their place in the world. In my opinion, that's one of the most attractive traits a human being can have. And I gravitate towards people that are doing that. And you very much fall into that category,
Oh,
as point in case by the
thanks.
fantastic story you just told us.
It's long, but thank you.
Yeah. Should we switch to some silly questions, or should we
Sure.
keep
Yeah.
going the heavy stuff?
Let's lighten it up a
Okay.
little bit.
Well, do you? I feel a little bad that you just shared such an amazing and like vulnerable story. Are there any questions you have for me before we? I feel a little gimmicky to be like, thank you for sharing that. Here's some fun questions for you.
Oh,
I want you to feel reciprocated as well, that this is a conversation.
I don't think I have anything right now.
Okay. Well, if anything pops up, I'm happy to
Okay.
I'm happy to share the dark side of Zach
Okay.
as well.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Silly questions I have. This is something I asked that I like. I think it's funny. What's your Wi-Fi password?
Oh, I think it's just like something random that
Damn
came
it.
with
Okay.
the router. I know.
I'm gonna.
If
I.
it were, if
Sorry.
it were up to me, it would be Queen Cricket
That's a great. What? Why Queen Cricket?
because Cricket is my cat,
Mm-hmm.
and she actually is a queen. Like when cats have more than like a certain number of litters, they're actually called queens. So,
Oh, so she's
and she
bred a
actually
bunch.
also is a queen.
She is a
Yeah,
queen. She is a queen.
I don't know where
Uh,
she is right now,
I
but
won't read the comments in chat, but they are very much thanking you for your honesty and vulnerability.
oh,
Yeah.
you're welcome. Thanks for listening.
If
Thanks for sticking with it.
Yeah, 100%. They're probably upset that we're switching to silly, but we can go back to the less silly. If I were to summon you via black magic, what 5 items would I need in each corner of the pentagram?
Oh, oh no. What if other like what did you have you asked this with your
Nope,
other guest?
I have not. That's a question that I figured would be great for you.
Oh, that is a good question. Did you see my reaction?
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Does it like okay,
Hmm.
probably a California burrito,
I love that.
a pair of rollerblades,
Okay.
um, cricket.
Cricket. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, cricket. Um, let's see. 2 more, right?
2 more. Yeah, we got cricket, California burrito, and roller skates.
Roller skates.
Something with astrology.
Trying to think. Probably. Oh my god. Oh, probably my sister.
I love that.
Probably my sister.
Put her in the pentagram.
Yeah, just throw her in there. And then a quilt that I have that my great aunt
Mm-hmm.
Naomi made me when I was
Mm-hmm.
like 10 years old, and I still have it with me, and it's like my favorite blanket ever.
That's adorable. Is it big enough
Yeah.
or is it small?
It is. It's
Okay.
big.
Wow,
Yeah.
she made it for you to grow into. That's a great answer. That has like the perfect mix of like personal stuff, but also things that represent you.
Yeah. There we go.
All right.
I try.
All right. Well, I'm sorry to interrupt the flow. I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick. If that's all right.
Okay, I
I've
need
been
to get
down
water.
Okay, I will. I'll put the screen on a BRB and I'll mute it so you're able to do whatever you like.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Okay, everybody, we are going to take a quick break. Everybody, feel free to get some water. Do whatever you're going to do. We'll be back in just a few short minutes with the conversation.
Yeah. Okay. I'm good. I'm good. I'm really good. How are you doing, Zach?
I am doing good as well. I was muted. I'm doing good. I have to like. I'm a little pissed off about it. Unrelated to this completely. I'm enjoying this immensely.
Uh-oh.
My day job, we're being quizzed on like a book. He had us all like go out and buy this book, and we've had like forever to
What?
read it. Yeah, and he's
Wait.
gonna quiz us.
What?
Yeah,
Wait. What?
and I've read 0% of it. So
That's stupid. Why is your job? Are you serious?
yeah, thank you. I knew you would be similarly outraged. It's like I'm not getting paid to do it. Like he bought the book, and I haven't
I mean,
invoiced it yet. But
oh, how nice of him. He got the book. Wow.
yeah, and it's like I don't know. I'm trepidatious to talk about this on stream just because like it is my employer. So
Right.
we're gonna move on. But
Okay.
he is an interesting guy. You know, I'm happy to have the job, and I do good work. That's all I'll say.
Oh, I know you do. You little sixth house moon.
You little 6 house moon. What does that even? So how many houses are there?
12. Everyone has 12 houses in their birth chart.
And what does it mean to have a moon in a house?
Well,
Or are they all in moons and houses?
everyone's moon falls in a certain house. It just depends on which house it was.
Oh, okay. So what are the different houses?
Different houses represent different areas of our lives.
Okay, and what did you say? I'm
So
sixth moon house?
you're a sixth house moon.
Sixth house. What does that mean?
That means that you find emotional fulfillment in getting like your daily tasks done, and you also
That's
enjoy.
true.
You probably also enjoy helping other people as well, like with their tasks as well, even if it's
Damn.
just like offering advice or offering feedback. And because of the Sagittarius moon, you do it in a really fiery, passionate, positive way. And probably add a little bit of a philosophical twist to it as well.
See, you're getting me too much. I'm not used to being perceived so correctly so quickly. I'm used to the one doing that. Truth be told.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I enjoy
I
it.
beat you at your own game.
Well, it's my secret. So this is basically the thing with Zach. So, and I've thought about this a ton. Another piece of shadow work is somewhere along the lines in my life, like from a young age, I decided that people didn't really understand me. Which, like, if you're listening right now, guys, that's been one of the most detrimental things in my life. That I decided from a young age that I was a private person. I was fiercely individualistic, and no one will be able to understand me to the same extent that I understand myself. And while I agree with that philosophically, it's also an incredibly isolating thing. You're also setting up most of your relationships for strife and or failure by saying like, well, no, you can't understand me. And it also removes the level of responsibility that we as individuals have in helping people understand us. So somewhere along the line, and I remember I had like a very emotional conversation with my mother when I was like 10 or 12. And she just like innocuously said, no, I know you pretty well. I'm your mother. And I was like livid. I was like, you'll never know me as deeply as I'll know myself. And the conversation eventually had to end with her being like, okay, yeah, I guess not. And I look back now and I've gotten a lot better about this, but like I just wouldn't share things about myself until I was done processing it. So my mother, who's like an amazing person, so wise, I love her a lot. She would always say, she's like, no, I know you'll come talk to me, Zach, but once you've already dealt with it. So I was like very used to just dealing with things alone.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm still kind of like that, but I fight that urge. And so I've gotten a lot better about communicating that things are important to me, reaching out to friends, reaching out to family, being proactive about it.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
That's
So
actually a very positive, like that's like one thing that a lot of people with six house moons struggle with is like reaching out when they feel like stressed or like overworked
I'm still not
or
good about it. I'm still not. My first inclination when I'm struggling is to just be like, I need to remove myself from everything social. I need to be alone, and I will get through this.
wow.
No,
It's still your first like your first inclination?
it is, yeah. And the thing is, what's tough about it is I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with like needing space or time or whatever. But I do think it's not necessarily an overwhelming positive thing when that is your only tool you're utilizing,
Yeah.
or when you are incapable of not doing that.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
is your house moon?
I am a third house moon.
What does that mean?
Um, that means I find emotional fulfillment in like learning and
Love that.
like information, like taking in information, then also
Hmm.
like disseminating it. So third house moons are are kind of known as like closet intellects.
Hmm.
So like I just kind of like know a little bit about everything. I mean,
Love that.
not like very specific things like that
Hmm.
I'm also obviously very passionate and know like more about, but I like learning about like little bits of everything. Um, so that and then my moon sign is Aries.
Hmm.
So I do it with a bit of a fiery, quick hastiness. Uh
I like the gesticulations and the little laughters you input when talking about your own astrology. Do you notice that you do that? Like when I asked about your house, there was a quick little, well, and then when we talk about Aries, I like that there's just so much subtext in your own analysis of yourself.
Stop reading me, Zach.
Well, I'm looking at you. I'm literally looking at you.
Uh anyways,
Is that
so
something
that's
you've
what
noticed at all, or you just do, or is it just because you
now that
enjoy
you
it?
said it, now I'm like aware of
No,
it.
it's a good thing. I think the little, I guess I want to say like personal idioms is not the right word, but the little nuances we add in our communication style, I think, are what add depth to our personality and make
That's
us so
true.
engaging.
That's true. I actually do. I think this is because of my third house moon. I
Hmm.
love linguistics. Like I just have a deep
Right.
like love for linguistics and like
Hmm.
language.
And you
And
studied writing.
I think I did study writing, and I
Yeah,
think it's so cool that we've developed a science of language and a science of
totally.
communication.
Yeah,
That's like the coolest science to me, if I'm
I
being
agree. That's what I love. My brother put it a good way. I'm like, maybe you connect with this. I get more out of, I learn more about myself based off the casual things people say to me. Like the people that know me well. Like I'm always looking at the off the cuff remarks, the things that are
yeah.
said when we're not thinking. Cause like in my opinion, like that's where you're really just, you're hitting to the heart of something. Like it's just your subconscious speaking.
Hmm.
And so I have so many moments and stuff where I'm like, somebody once said this to me. And I'm always like looking at patterns. I think we've talked about this a little bit. Maybe I think you said a certain phrase to me. Was that a conversation we had where I asked you to like break down that phrase you said to me? Um,
Oh, I don't remember what the phrase was, but I remember us talking about it.
something people over the course of my life, probably since I was like a teenager till now. So different types of people, different demographics, different geographical, every way that could make these people different they are, have said this exact phrase to me. Zach, you have a lot of love to give. And that took me a long time. The fact that so many different people said it. And so I'm always looking for kind of those keys and those patterns that people are saying about myself because I, frankly, this is another piece of shadow work. I have trouble understanding myself. I have trouble,
Hmm.
like, it's so easy for me to analyze other people, a story, a script, you name it, a film, a play, easy. Myself, it's so difficult for me to do um, for a lot of different reasons. So, do you connect with that at all? Are you do you ever like does someone ever say something to you and it takes you a while, or someone else keys something in and you're like, that's
If
more,
I have trouble understanding myself?
yeah. A, do you have trouble understanding yourself, and B, do you find that you're able to understand yourself better through the lens of others?
So I had a lot of trouble understanding myself
Hmm.
when I was younger as a child. Because my thing was as a child, and I think I can chalk and this is the thing about astrology is like astrology has helped me
Hmm.
like make sense of my past as well and be like, oh, that's
Sure.
why I behaved this way as a child because it was so like I didn't know what it was. It was so like or it was unbalanced or whatever.
hmm
Like I can look at my chart at certain points in my life and be like, that's transit. That's what I was going through. That's why I felt this way. And I
Right.
kind of saw it manifest in this area of my life. So um when I was younger, like I feel emotions very quickly, very
hmm
urgently,
hmm
and very intensely. Uh, the thing is though, like depending on like the severity of like the circumstance, if it's just something that
Yeah.
like is like really irritates me, like I mean, I've kind of like there have been some times where I've like sent you a couple videos where I'm like kind of
Oh
heated and
yeah,
I'm like I need
fuming, fuming.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like I just need to get it out, like
You
da-da-da.
gotta,
And
you
then, like
gotta.
15, 20 minutes later, it like kind of like dies down.
I
Um,
connect with that a lot.
yeah, so it's very urgent. It's very urgent. It's very quick and intense, but I think for a long time, like growing up, because I felt it that quickly, a lot of people thought that that's how I was just going to feel for the rest of the day. And so the second I had those feelings,
hmm
everyone was always just like, Annie, calm down, Annie, calm down. Like it's okay. Control your emotions, control your
Yeah.
emotions.
It's like
And
that's what I'm doing, yo.
yeah, and I was like, I never really felt emotionally like safe or comfortable enough to kind of like express what I was feeling or what I was thinking growing up.
hmm
But I think it's just because I didn't know what emotions were. I think that's also just if I can put like a little spiritual twist on it. Um,
hmm
like when I was a young soul, like when we're humans, like young humans, because we're like new to this planet and figuring out emotions is hard. Like figuring out feelings is really hard. A lot of people to this day like still don't really feel their emotions or like express their emotions.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I think like growing up, because I always heard like control your emotions, like control your
hmm
emotions. I whenever I felt these emotions very intensely, I felt like the only place I really felt safe to express them was like by myself or like privately.
Right.
So I would have very, very intense like days or months or sometimes weeks where I would just like have these really, really deep like just
hmm
emotion. Like I think this is kind of like I don't know. It kind of felt like maybe depression a little bit, and I have suffered from depression. And I definitely suffer from anxiety, but that's kind of like gotten better, especially as I stopped drinking and like got sober.
hmm
That's definitely gotten better.
That's awesome.
Um, so yeah. So but yeah, I would just growing up like emotionally, it felt like it was hard for me to kind of like work through my emotions or figure out
Right.
why why something had upset me so much. And
hmm
that's what I'm kind of like learning right now is like whenever I do get upset, I have to and I think this might have something to do with just being a third house moon and needing to like verbally like disseminate like my thoughts and feelings
Right. Right.
in order to process them.
hmm
That's why I literally have to like vent to someone when I'm like feeling very like feeling things very intensely.
hmm
Like when I vented to you a couple a few days ago about,
hmm
what I vented to you about. Um right after I also called my sister and I was like, "Do you have like 20 minutes to talk right now?" And she was like, "Yeah, why? What's up?" And I just like ripped and like I like let it go. And then by the end of the conversation, I was so much better. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It was like it literally only takes that long. And that's the thing too is like my sister and I are also like process our emotions very actually now that I think of it when I think about like her chart, we actually process our emotions probably very similarly. Um That's interesting. I'm like, not new. See, this is about thing about astrology is like you learn something new every day about yourself and like your connections with other
Yeah.
people. Um, so uh so my sister and I growing up, like we kind of like process our emotions very similarly, but how we express them is very different.
Right. Right.
So anyways, so it was really hard for me to like feel emotionally safe around her. And this is something that like my sister and I have kind of worked on in our relationship as we've gotten older is recognizing each like everyone's like emotional triggers like how we like process
Yeah.
like emotionally. So I've had to have conversations with her. I've had to go up to her and be like, hey, like that thing that you were doing earlier when you were mumbling to yourself and I thought you were just like talking shit. I was like, was that actually you just like processing your emotions like out loud but like to yourself in a safe space? And she was like, yes, actually.
hmm
And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, I just wanted to make sure because, like, when I heard that, I took it as like, I literally like when I heard her do that because we kind of gotten like a little tiff about this. This is when she was home and we were in the kitchen and cooking or whatever. But we had like a little tiff about something about the food in the kitchen,
hmm
and she starts like mumbling under her breath, and I am like, and I'm like, do you have something to say? Like, like, can you want to say it? Like, share it with the rest of the class? Like, that's what I
Yeah,
said. I was like, do
yeah.
you have something to say? And she was like, she didn't really say much. She was just like, no, like, or something. And then we kind of like made up about it. And then later, after we made up, I was like, hey, that thing you were doing earlier was like that you like literally just like verbally processing your emotions, like, and so that you could understand like where you know, what was going on. And she was like, oh yeah, I actually, how did you know? And I was like, I don't know, I was just like wondering.
Yeah.
But as we've gotten like older in our relationships, like
Yeah.
we've, I think, been able to help each other stand each other emotionally better, which is
Mm.
great. So
It's interesting how we have to like. So I have siblings. So you have just the one sister. Do you have any other siblings?
I have a, yeah, so younger sister. I say younger, but we're 14 months apart, so
Mhm.
like just a little over a year.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have friends like who are actually younger than her. So
Yeah.
she's like my best friend, if anything.
Yeah.
So I have a younger sister and then an older brother. He's 2 years older, like 2.5 years older than I am. That's it. I have a half sister, older half sister, but I really don't have a
Got
relationship
it.
with her.
Got it. Well, it's super interesting. So I have an older brother and a younger sister as well. So we share that.
Middle child.
Yeah, which we know. Yeah, forgive me if I'm
Yeah,
ever like repeating things and making it sound like I don't for the context of the
that's
podcast.
okay.
Um, but it's interesting how we have to like redefine our adult relationships with our parents and our siblings, and it's almost
Yeah.
like, and you're a little bit older than me, so maybe you have additional context on this, um,
Mhm.
in that it continues to evolve. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's almost like every like year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, like clockwork, kind of have to like redo one of those kind of things, especially depending on how much time you're spending. And your story with your sister connected because my brother and I just had on his birthday in October, we had like probably the largest fight we've had since we were like 10 or 11. So really in our
Wow.
entire lives. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, it was a lot.
Isn't your brother also a Scorpio?
Yes, which is it's funny because I didn't know anything about astrology really until like a thing, and then yeah, so he's a Scorpio, and I wish I had a better memory. I wish I could remember all my previous relationships and their birthdays so I could start piecing this together because I bet there's some things. But yeah, I don't know if it's just the Scorpio in him. I'd have to get his full chart. But I have learned and we've communicated about this, and thankfully we have a younger sister who is able to like help us both,
Yeah.
which is amazing. She's so great for that. But I came to the conclusion. I'm like, brother, we don't have the tools to communicate to each other. Like
Mm,
when shit hits the fan, like when we're both like emotionally invested, like we don't have the capacity or tools to help
yeah.
each other feel heard and understood.
Yeah.
So we're working on that.
Yeah, I mean, my relationship with my brother is like, I mean, my brother in general, like, just doesn't, he's not just like, he just doesn't text. He doesn't really communicate with
Hmm.
anyone in the family. And I think the rest of us, like my sister and my parents are like starting to kind of like accept that.
Yeah,
Um, and that's not to say that like, he doesn't like love us or anything. He's just like,
he's a
I
very
think
like in person kind of guy.
yeah. And I think he's actually just more of a quiet person,
Yeah.
like in general, like in communication. So,
Hmm.
but when he does say things that are like very
Insightful.
insightful, and also like he does talk about his job and everything, and he does talk like he does say things that are like very like in the know and like provocative and thought provoking. Sometimes he'll
Hmm.
just say stuff to like off the wall stuff, and I'm like, what? Why would you?
What's his name?
Michael,
Michael. And what's your sister's name?
Katie,
Haiti?
Katie.
Katie. I was like, Haiti, like the country, or like Hades, like the god of
No,
the
no,
underworld? Katie.
no, Katie, Catherine.
Got it, got it. Yeah, we have a lot of similarities in that regard too. In that like very easily able to connect with our younger sibling requires
Yeah,
maybe a little bit more work on the older sibling.
which is so funny because I feel like were you close with your younger sibling growing up?
No.
Really?
I was well we were, I had a brother, so it was two boys and a girl.
Oh, I wasn't close with Katie growing up.
You were not or were?
I was not like,
Yeah,
well,
same, same.
not that we weren't like hated each other. We just like weren't close. Although when we did fight, we like fought. Like, ooh,
Ooh,
it was bad. Like we fought. It was physical.
yeah.
As like sisters usually do, like when they
Mhm.
fight.
Yeah,
So
it's another level.
it's a whole different type of fighting when sisters
Yeah,
fight.
me
Oh
and my
my
brother would
god.
just we would duke it out. Like we went to we basically were like super super close, and then I had enough, and then we really didn't speak from like maybe age like when I was 12 or 13, and he's like 2.5 years
Mhm.
older than me, until probably I
Wow.
was like 17. So we didn't speak for like a good, like we would do the basic amount of communication you needed to like coexist with someone, like
Right.
pass the
Yeah.
blank, da da da.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were not really on speaking terms until he left for college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't imagine like not like just like not having that level of communication with. I mean, my siblings and I like we because we were all close in age. Like
Yeah.
we all chatted, like the three of us all talked.
Hmm.
But Katie was actually closer to Michael growing up.
Hmm.
Um, Katie was like more of like what you would call like the tomboy or whatever, and I was just more like girly girl, I guess. You know what's funny though is that I actually talked about this with my roommate a couple nights ago.
Hmm.
Um, when we were younger, when my sister and I were younger, someone I don't really have any memory of this, but this is like a funny family story.
Right.
When we were young, I was like 4 and Katie was 3. A relative asked both of us like what we wanted to be when we grew up, and I, in my naivety, said a mom.
Hmm.
And then my sister said, "I want to be a boxer so I can fight people." And then as like our lives have like gone, like paths have like our paths have kind of crossed now to where it's like um now she's married and she really wants to like start having children and like have a
Yeah.
family,
Hmm.
and I'm like no kids,
You're like, I'm ready
nothing.
to fight some fools online
Yeah, I'm
in the
like no,
comment section of Twitter.
give me a bus to convert please, I would
Yeah.
like to travel. And
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So your one of your dreams, something you're working on, something you are going to do, is you'd like to
yeah,
convert a bus
yes.
and you'd like to travel around. What draws you to that?
um just the idea of like being able to see more of the world, or like at least see more of like this continent,
Yeah.
um in like as much time as possible, and it kind of works out perfectly like with what I do for work cuz I can still like work remotely
Totally.
and travel. But part of that, like the other part of that dream is like I would also still like to have like roots somewhere.
Right.
So I would like to have like some land to buy,
Yeah.
because what I really wanted, like 5 to 10 acres maybe.
Hmm.
Um, well, what I really would like to do is to buy that land, and I want to have like a little farm or like a garden. I want to
Hmm.
start like a communal garden, and like have people come and like take what they need and also contribute like what they can.
Hmm.
So like I would do like 6 months out of the year, and like the other 6 months I would travel. But that's the dream.
Maybe you could have like a rough property manager who like lives in a shed somewhere and chops all the wood and takes care of the garden, and his name's Henry or something.
His name's Henry. Yeah,
Who's that man?
little old man named Henry.
Oh no, I was thinking like roughly same age, just kind of like the hermit, the quiet, strong
Oh,
type. Yeah, I'm, I'm
what?
I'm building a scenario for you.
Like Wesley from The Princess Bride? Is that what you're going
Yes,
for?
yeah, someone who manages the land, and he's got an eye on my lord's daughter, and they start spending time, because she loves riding horses, and so the father has her go out with him because he's safe. There's no politics involved with that.
Mhm,
And then you come back from your journey abroad, and Henry's
mhm.
much broader himself.
This is a whole fiction. This is a whole Wattpad
I
story.
I will at the drop of the hat, I will build a complex, incredibly meaningless story based on something completely fabricated.
If that tickles your fancy.
It always does. I a long time ago decided that I'm just gonna live my life for the like I have aspirations and goals that I'm working like tirelessly on. But I have
Yeah.
decided that I think around like age I want to say like 16 or 17, and I defined it as I've gotten older. I decided that like I'm living life for the shits and the gigs. Like I'm living life for the story. I'm here just to tickle my fancy all the way through until I die in a fiery explosion, jumping out of a plane, taking a
That's
bomb
horrible.
with me to
A
save the
fiery
president of the
explosion.
United States. Yeah.
A fiery explosion, Zach.
Well, I'm a fiery
Of course,
guy.
a fucking Leo would say a fiery
Yeah.
explosion.
And they're gonna, yeah, but until that day happens, I'm just here to have a good time.
Hey, same. That's why I want to travel. I'm like, I'm just here to have a good time. I want to see as much of the world as I can.
How much of this bus have you? Is there like a specific style of bus that you want to go for? Are you like an
I
old
don't know if there's a
Volkswagen
certain
gal or like more of like
no,
a?
I don't know if there's a certain well, yeah, so as far as, like, size goes, I would like to maybe start with, like, a mid-sized bus,
Mhm.
because I feel like that would be big enough for, like, just, like, enough space for me to have. Because one thing I've been thinking about is maybe so growing up in my house, we used to have an upright piano, and I grew up, like, playing piano.
Yeah.
Um, so it's been in storage for years, and I
Yeah.
miss playing it so bad, and, like, that's one thing that I would like to maybe hopefully include in there. I don't know how I would do
A
that,
piano
but
in the bus?
yeah.
Wow, that'd be awesome. Have you thought about is a keyboard just totally a no go?
I would consider a keyboard.
Because you could do like a Murphy bed, but with a keyboard, and that way it can go
Or
up.
if I am gonna get, like, land, then I could also, like, just have the piano there and actually
Yeah.
have a keyboard in the bus. That's actually probably
Mhm.
better and safer for the piano.
So you are very musically inclined. Will you tell the
Yeah.
audience a little bit? So, what instruments do you play? You enjoy singing. Tell us about music in your life. What is your relationship with
Oh
music?
Oh god, music has I've always had a relationship with music.
Right.
Always had a relationship with music. I grew up performing. I grew up
Hmm.
like singing on stage, acting on stage.
Yeah.
I love it. So I don't the only instrument I do play is piano.
Hmm.
And then I do sing. So
Yeah. You
that's
have a marvelous singing voice.
the two instruments. Oh, thank
I
you.
actually have a song queued up for us right now, if you wouldn't mind. Just
Are you serious?
no,
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Would you have if I was like ready to go with it?
Probably not.
Yeah, okay, got it. I just think that's
Probably
so
not.
funny. It's just like having a conversation about something, and it's like, oh, hey, by the way, it's ready to go. Let me drop this on you.
If you had did you actually have it ready?
No, 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 no. That just popped into my head right now. But
Okay.
and I'm a little bit of a dick. Would you consider yourself a little bit of a dick? I consider myself a little bit of a dick.
Sometimes I can be a bitch.
I don't think you're ever a bitch. Maybe you're a dick sometimes.
Okay. Okay, I can be a dick sometimes.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
true.
I don't
Yeah.
think anyone's a bitch.
I can be a little bit of an ass. I like that word better. I can be a little bit of an ass.
Got it. Yeah, bitch is actually a word I've removed from my vocabulary, and I'll be honest with everybody here. I've not missed it one day. I removed it. Okay. Do you guys want to hear? Do you want to hear like a little bit of an embarrassing story?
Always.
So, so I moved to college at 18. I went from San Diego to San Francisco, SFSU. And for those of you that are roughly, Annie and I's age, like, I went to college in 2012. The early 2000s were a different time, like comedically. Like you can go back and
Yeah.
watch primetime TV, The Community,
Yeah.
even How I Met Your Mother, whatever. And it was considered comedy to call people gay, to say the FAG
The
word,
The F
to
slur.
yeah, the F slur, to call a woman a female dog. They were doing this on prime time television.
Yeah.
And that was very much in the zeitgeist. Yeah, the R word, definitely. It was definitely, it's crazy how different it was. And then especially
Yeah.
being in a conservative area of San Diego, like as my sister so lovingly points out, I had a lot of growing and learning to do. I was just a little boy
Yeah.
that was stuck in toxic masculinity. I didn't know any better. Then I moved to San Francisco, which was great for me. I loved it. I really got to flourish. I got to understand my sexuality a little bit more, which was totally magnificent. But all of a sudden, my circle, and I think we've talked about this. I have a few close male friends, but I've always tended towards women,
Right.
and my gay friends. Like I don't know why, just something. I have a lot of friends. I think it's because of toxic masculinity and like
Yeah.
straight men, especially back then, like weren't really. It wasn't popular to communicate with your friends about anything really,
Yeah.
other than just baseline stuff. So, but I'm a fucking sensitive guy. I wanted to communicate to people.
Right.
So now all of a sudden I'm living with my one of my new friend, my roommate Andrew, who is gay, and so I was really surrounded by that group. So they, as a lot of you guys know, like they use bitch almost like the word queen, like yas bitch, like that. So that started becoming in my vocabulary. Like I basically just switched over to that, and it was funny and it was fine or whatever. But I didn't quite understand that that's not something that this guy right here, this cis straight guy, can say just like gay guys can. Like I couldn't just throw it around. Like with my friends, totally fine. So I walk into in my American politics class. It's a once a week class. It's like 7 p.m., because SFSU is a commuter school. So very different kind of clientele associated.
Mhm.
I sit next to this girl who's a little bit older, And she's just like, I don't know what she's doing, but she's like, just letting me have it, like right away, like saying some, like jokingly kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And without even thinking, I just look at her and I'm like, oh, stop being a bitch. And she tears me apart, right? It's San Francisco, you know, you can understand the type of, you know, in an academic environment, you can understand the kind of outspoken character that I'm painting with this woman. She just tears me. She's like, how fucking dare you call me that? Da, 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 da. And just in that moment, my stomach drops and I realize that like I should not have said that. The humor did not come across. Furthermore, it wasn't even that funny, even if she did get the humor. And I just looked at her and I was like, you're absolutely right. I'm so sorry. I didn't even try to explain like my context or whatever. I was like, you're totally right. I won't do it again. I was like, would you like me to move seats? And she's like, no, that's fine. And she was totally fine. And I have found in my life, like when you make a mistake, just honestly owning it and genuinely apologizing, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be fine, and you might even have a positive relationship with that person. But so anyways, I remove bitch from my vocabulary unless I'm talking about myself. I call myself a bitch. But I just don't use it. And I'm like, I don't miss it.
Yeah. I mean, I do call myself a bitch just 'cause, like, to
Oh,
myself.
I'm such a little bitch.
Yeah, I'll be like, "Come on, dumb bitch!" Like, especially when I'm cooking. When I'm
Come
high.
on, you stupid bitch.
Yeah,
Get it right.
when I'm cooking when I'm high, I'm like, "Oh, dumb bitch, you forgot to add this," and then
yeah,
so
yeah. So I don't really do that. But I was talking about I was having a conversation with a friend the other day. Do you find that when you're alone, just kind of in the quiet times, or when you're cooking or whatever, do you find that you're just like casually negative to yourself? Like that thing you just said, like, oh, you forgot to add spice. Like, come on, you dumb bitch. Like, you forgot the pepper. Like, do you find, is that something I do very often?
no, I laugh at myself.
Yes.
I laugh at myself. I'm like, "Oh, seriously?" I'm like, "Okay, this is gonna still taste good
Mhm.
anyway." Like,
That's
hopefully.
good. That's good. I've been thinking more about it lately, and I'm like, what's the point of me just being casually negative to myself? You know, like
Yeah.
it serves no purpose. And once again, with me, my issue is that like I don't know how to word this. I guess like I feel like I can take a lot of stuff. Like I can take a lot of shit. I can take a lot of stuff on. You know, I feel like
Okay.
I can do that. So
Yeah.
often, so to me, when I say something negative to myself, I know that it doesn't affect me. I know it doesn't bother me. I know like my core is strong enough. I could look in the mirror, and I genuinely believe this. I could look in the mirror every morning when I wake up. I could look at myself and I could be like, "You fucked up yesterday, bud. You're a piece of shit." I would never do that. But I know that it genuinely wouldn't affect my well-being. However, I came to the realization that like even if it's a neutral thing to myself, why don't I just decide to change that? Instead, why don't I just look in the mirror and say, "Hey, bud, you're gonna do great today. Get after it." Like if both those things are neutral to me, why not
Yeah.
choose the one that is positive facing? Because it does nothing for me to just be walking around when I make a mistake and just be like, "That was so dumb, Zach."
Yeah.
Why not just change that to like, "Well, you learned something there, huh, bud?" You know?
Actually, I do say that to myself whenever I actually do fuck up. I am actually I'm trying to change the language to myself. I mean, like, "Annie, like, you fucked up," and be like,
Yeah.
"Well, I definitely learned something." Like, I say that, like, actually a lot of the time. I'm like, "Well, I learned something."
Yeah.
So,
It's the small things. I'm all about trying to figure out those things in my life, the things that are like almost cost me nothing to change.
yeah.
Like they're such small things, but I'm like they're gonna build up over time, and like I
Yeah.
can't confidently say that saying negative things in my life don't diminish, even if it diminishes my mental health 0.1%. You know, isn't if I can so casually change that, it'll add up over time. So I'm all
Yeah.
about. Do you have anything like that in your life, like simple fixes that you're like, this actually doesn't matter to me. Why don't I just change it?
Um, like what? Do you have an example?
So one would be that, like the communication thing, with myself. Another small thing, like taking out the word bitch.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
a thing that my father actually taught me. I remember I was like we were having dinner. We had dinner every night together, like most nights out of the week. Like that was kind of a
Mhm.
staple of our household.
Yeah.
And I think I looked over at my sister and she like didn't finish her food or whatever. And I just casually was like, "Oh, hey Kelly, like you've been eating less lately." And my dad like pulled me aside, or I don't know if he pulled me aside or just said it there. And he's like, "Hey, we're not going to make comments like that." And I didn't mean anything. But he's like, "I know you didn't." And he's like, "But there's enough like," he didn't say it like this. And he's like, "But there's enough bullshit
Right.
in this world that she's gonna have to deal with when it comes to like appearance and stuff. And he's like, let's not even like let it be a conversation. And I was like,
Wow.
that's another thing. Like a small, like it takes no effort on my part to just not comment on eating habits of people.
Yeah.
You know, so do you have anything like that? Like things that literally cost you no energy, but you're like, why don't I just make that decision?
I think one thing for me, I don't
Mhm.
know. That's a good question.
And if you can't think of any, we can come back to it.
Yeah, let's come back to it.
Okay. Let me pull up my handy dandy list of stuff I wrote down
Okay.
for us to talk about.
Sounds good.
How do you get inspiration for your content?
It just comes to me whenever.
Okay.
I also have a lot of drafts that I just like don't.
How many
I
drafts
just,
do you have?
How
I
many
had
do
to-
you have?
I've had to delete because I've been on TikTok for over 2 years now. I just
Right.
like met we were talking I actually just like met a new creator, and like you know how we talked about like you kind of have like a similar introductionary conversation, you know, when you meet someone
Right.
new on
Yeah.
the app, like a colleague. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've been on it. So I've gone through phases, but so because the app takes up too much space on my phone. I think the most I've ever had sitting at a certain point is maybe like 400.
Oh wow.
Because I will do a lot of takes for my acting stuff.
Okay.
You know,
Oh, that's okay.
it's very common to have at least 3 takes for something.
Okay. I think like over 250 or something.
Got it. Have you ever gone through them all? Just like spent a few hours and just kind of gone through them?
Not in a long time. I've gone through like some like my really old ones that I know are there that I'm like I'm probably not
Yeah,
gonna like
yeah.
this, and I'm like deleting them. But I haven't actually gone through them in a long time. I probably should and just be like, let's just clear this up a little
What's your relationship with TikTok?
bit. I use TikTok as a creative outlet, like just some
Yeah,
place for me to just like kind of just like express whatever, like
totally.
whatever I'm feeling. And also to try and like to still like try and like promote myself and promote like what I do full time
Mhm.
here and there, sprinkle here and there.
What is probably the most positive thing that TikTok has input into your life, and what's probably the most negative thing?
The most positive thing is probably my job,
Yeah.
having income and like living.
Mhm.
Uh, and then the most negative thing, I don't,
Mhm.
probably just experiencing like burnout more.
Burnout. Yeah.
Yeah. So I experienced burnout when I used to work in that job with enterprise, but I was also drinking heavily, so it's a little different.
Yeah. Sorry, my you froze for me. Let me just fix this
Oh,
real quick.
oh no.
So how do you combat burnout?
Um, well, when I feel it coming, I kind of like I just kind of like lower my energy. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. I just kind of like I do step back from TikTok. Like I step back from like how much I'm posting. I step back from like the type of content that I post, like depending on like
Mhm.
how much energy I put into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
How often
uh,
do you have to take breaks?
the last time I had burnout like this was maybe back in September.
Okay.
So 6-ish months. Yeah.
Got it. What do you what is how does burnout kind of like manifest itself into you? Like what are some of the signs you recognize with it?
Um, when I start to feel disconnected from the work that I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah. When I start to feel like it becomes more of like an obligation instead of like a passion and like something that I like want to do,
Hmm.
or like feel like like feel moved to do.
Yeah.
That's when I feel like I have to like step back.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And do you find that burnout when you are experiencing it, does it affect other aspects of your life as well? Or
um
do you keep it like pretty I guess like restricted to social media?
no, I feel like it's pretty much just restricted to social media and my job.
Okay.
Because I mean, just because of COVID, like I don't really go out anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm just and I work from home, so I just like spend a lot of my time in my apartment,
Hmm.
which I mean, I'm not like complaining about. Maybe some people think that's sad, but I feel like a lot of people are just doing that right now anyway. So
Yeah. 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 Okay, got it. Here's another question I had. Sorry, I got you all fixed again.
Yeah.
Did you have any realizations over COVID? Any larger realizations? I know that's probably a little tough because you were relatively beginning your journey with sobriety when COVID hit.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, that's the thing is like I got sober right when COVID hit,
Yeah.
so I had a lot of realizations.
Totally.
um, I feel like over time I've like when I started getting sober over time I just started realizing I started coming back, but also like there was this feeling of like coming home within myself, but
Hmm.
also like stepping into or becoming the person that I was supposed to be, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
It was like coming home within myself, but also like aligning with my higher self, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Putting a spiritual twist on it.
You've mentioned hired self a few times.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, I obviously we all have an idea of that, but in your words, what is a higher self, and how and or when do you feel most connected with that?
Um, so I'm sure a lot of people like there's different I would define higher self as like it's the spirit, it's the part of us that um
Hmm.
that knows or that has it's like it's the best version of ourself that exists all like that already like exists and that is all it's like it's always with us like our higher
Hmm.
self is
Hmm.
always with us it takes some people longer to recognize that and then to figure out how to fall in alignment with their higher self.
How do you
uh
fall in alignment with your higher self? Like,
Me personally,
do you have any activities? Is it like meditating or
meditating.
okay? How often do you
Yeah.
meditate?
Truthfully I haven't meditated in a while just
Yeah,
because
I
of
love it.
work.
I never do it.
I know. I haven't meditated in a while because of work. My guides and my ancestors are probably pissed.
Yeah, every time I meditate, I cry. Is that weird?
No, that's not weird. I've cried.
I
I've cried
do.
several times in meditation.
But I also cry all the time. Like I've always known
You
this about
really?
myself.
You just
Yeah,
so like casually admitted that. That was awesome.
I do all the time. And the thing is, I've made a new acting friend, which I love making new
Can I
like
tell you something?
yes,
I cried in the shower this morning because I just like needed like a good cry. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Sometimes you
I
just
just like
need it out.
I needed a good cry.
Well, I think that's so good, and I think it's so important to get those emotions out and stuff. And I'm upfront with people that I'm like, yeah, I'm a very emotional person, and I think it catches people by surprise because I am like kind of chill and I have like a business background, and people are like, what? Um, but I hesitated to say it, but I'm gonna. This is probably one of the most personal things about me, in just that I've never really shared it, but like my whole life I consider it like daydreaming, and I think a lot of people will connect with this, but like I'm constantly just walking around like envisioning or feeling things very very in depthly, and because I'm an actor I think I like gravitated towards that. I just allow myself at any given moment to just really feel whatever it is I'm feeling, and I never really considered it like crying or this or that because it's not personal, it's like I might be listening to a song and it makes me think of like me being in that position, or it makes me think of a relationship I've had or a conversation or whatever. And it's not always crying. Sometimes it's a happy whatever, whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not something I do around other people. And that's why like my acting process is like so vulnerable for me, and I can't do it around other people. Even relationships I've been in, I have to like kind of sequester myself to do it. Unless I'm like in an audition space or a rehearsal space,
That makes sense
then
though.
I'm
I
able
mean,
to.
I think I would feel the same way if I was in a relationship with someone like cuz I feel the same way about acting as well. Like I
Mhm.
the reason why ever people ask me on my lives all the time like would you or not all the time. Sometimes I get this a couple times in my lives.
Mhm.
All the time sounds like I don't know, I feel like narcissistic. A couple times I get asked this on my
Frequently, you get this asked this, yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
What like would you pursue acting professionally?
Hmm.
And I just tell people I'm like, I mean, if I mean I could, I know I could if I
Hmm.
really wanted to, but I'm pretty happy with like the job that I have right now. And right acting for me is like just a creative, like a way to like truly express myself in a creative way. That's why I
Totally.
still like post stuff on TikTok, even if it gets like very little views. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I thought that was good. So and
Same.
I got it out. So
Yeah. And people ask me the same thing, like, what made you want to be a professional actor, or do you think you'll always do it? And I think I am interesting in that capacity, in that like acting is not my whole life. And
Mm.
it took me a long time to realize that I wanted to do this professionally. Because in my mind, I don't have to be trying to make money off acting for it to have a relationship with it. And I know I will always have a relationship with acting. It's one of the few
Yeah.
things, one of the
Sure.
few constants in my life has been performing and theater and improv and acting. And so yeah, so I don't even know. I'm doing this right now. I don't know if I'll always do it. I don't know if I'll continue to do it. I have a
Yeah.
lot of thoughts and feelings about it, obviously. But so I totally agree. Like it's such a form of self-expression. And people that were on my live stream the other day, I started up and I just was feeling so shitty and so crappy.
Mhm.
And I was like, you guys just want to like do some acting? Like it's one of the few things that like without a doubt in my life can like it just like you said, it's my crying in the shower. It really, really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm crying in front of my camera, pretending about X, Y, and Z. But it's like my body doesn't care about why I'm crying. It does the same thing for
Like,
me. I don't need to be
yeah.
reliving my past traumas. I mean, sometimes I do that too. But so music, you've always been singing. You play the piano. Um, what do you enjoy most about like performing when it comes to singing and playing the piano? Like, does it make you feel a certain way? Does it give you a
Um,
picture of yourself that you enjoy?
no, I just truly like it's just a way for me to like express
Yeah,
my emotions. I like taking on the emotions of a song
totally.
and taking on the emotions of an artist. I love playing all different types of piano, but there's a certain like sound that I really like, or
Okay.
like type of piano like that I really like playing, if that makes sense.
Did you take
Um,
lessons or are you totally self-taught?
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I
got
took
it.
lessons until I was about 12 or 13, something like that.
Do you still play?
Well, I would if I had a piano to play
No,
with.
piano. Got it. Got it.
So hopefully I have more space for that.
We should get you a keyboard.
Well, I don't know where I would put it in my place, in my apartment.
Keep it under your bed. Take it out when you're ready to play it. Put it
I don't
back.
think I have space under my bed.
You don't think you have any space in your entire living situation to stash a 3.5 feet keyboard?
Oh, a 3.5 foot? No, I can't do a 3.5 foot keyboard. If I'm gonna do a keyboard, I'm gonna do like a keyboard.
Oh, see, I don't know anything. Yeah, I've always wanted to play the piano, and I bought a child's one, and the reviews were like, if you've never played, this is okay to learn. It's like maybe like, I don't know, 60
Yeah,
keys or 58 keys or something. You need a full 88 keys, I'm told.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right. Well, we're gonna
So
get you a keyboard
hopefully
when
that's
you
the
have the space
hope.
for it.
Yeah,
What
when I have a space.
what gives you the most comfort?
What gives me the most comfort?
Yes.
Like what kind of comfort?
When you're having a really bad day, what helps you feel comfortable in yourself again?
Probably just like talking it out.
Talking
Probably
it
like
out.
my first thought was like talking it out with my sister, honestly.
Okay.
So
How often does your sister reciprocate that? Does she call you up randomly and need to get it out? It's probably a little different because she has a partner.
yeah. So I mean, if I'll call her and if she doesn't answer, I'll call her again. If she doesn't answer, then I'll text her and be like, "Hey, like if you have time
No.
to talk, like I'd love to like chat with you." It's kind of wishy-washy with my sister, maybe
Mm-hmm.
a little bit, but it's like I kind of expect it. If she
Mm-hmm,
doesn't
mm-hmm.
answer, then I just kind of like I don't know. I find someone that I can like vent to.
Sure. Okay. So
So,
talk. Yeah,
or
we're
I'll just like
similar
talk
in
it out.
that.
Or I'll just like talk it out with myself, honestly.
Yeah. Have you ever gone on live with like maybe the intent or not quite the intent where you're like, I just need to verbally dump?
No.
You've never verbally dumped on a live stream before?
No. Maybe a couple times, like
That's
if
like
it's
my
talk,
MO.
but not like about. That's your mo.
100%. I'll just come on and I'm like, this is because I have trouble figuring out my feelings and my emotions and until I like talk about them. So there's like,
No,
especially
but
when
I want my lives to be like more positive, and like if people have questions, like they can ask, or I'll talk about like if
Mhm,
someone wants me to talk about a certain topic. Like that's why I like doing my
mhm,
lives.
mhm.
I don't want
Okay.
them to be like me just like dumping all my shit on my audience. You know what I mean?
I understand. I understand. I do
And
think that there.
I'm not saying you do
No,
that. Oh
I
my god.
didn't. I didn't take it personally in the slightest.
Okay.
But I do think that like there's a time and place because I follow creators where where in my opinion that's a little it wouldn't work for me personally where they're constantly going on live and they're not even really interacting, they're just like data dumping. you know.
Yeah.
And there's been, because I've been on TikTok for like 2 years now, there are people that I've followed for years, and like you just even passively, you know, you pick up what's going on in their life, right? You know, after spending so
Yeah.
much time with them and stuff. That's a little too much for me because I always kind of need the interaction. But I do think for me personally, there
Okay.
is something positive about being like, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm struggling with, and like sort of kind of talk it out and really just give me a space to just kind of be like, because I'm often feeling something and I'm unaware of its implications until I start talking about it.
That's true. Yeah. Like that's actually good. I think I recognize that in myself too. Like when I'm feeling a certain emotion, I'm like, okay, why am I feeling this way? Like
Yeah.
what is going on? Like I have to like identify like what this emotion is.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I would say that's probably like, I don't know, if I'm having a bad day, immediately I would probably go to my sister.
Okay. I'm glad you had that relationship.
Yeah. What about you?
When I'm having a bad exercise is probably one of the biggest
Okay.
things for me. Yeah, which I like talk about all the time.
That's good. That's really good that you have that outlet.
Yeah, and it took me a while to realize like the impact of exercise in my life, because I've always been exercising, and it's also
Mhm.
something like my dad said, going back to the casual comments. I'm all about those casual comments.
Yes,
um,
you are.
um, he would always, whenever we would like feel weird, like if I would ever just go like, I'm feeling like, he was a big, like, if we were sitting around all day, he'd be like, let's go down to the pier and walk,
Mhm.
you know, or like he required us to do sports in high school, not for any
Okay.
competitive
Wow.
reason.
Required?
Yeah, required. So I was a big runner my entire life. I was running a lot,
Okay.
and then the summer before my sophomore year, I injured my knees, and I have what's called floating kneecaps, patellofemoral syndrome. So
Ooh.
basically, my kneecaps get pulled off their groove and grind down the joints. Yeah, and I had to go to physical
That
therapy.
sounds so painful. What?
It's not fun. So I went to physical therapy, not for too long, for like a month and a half. They worked on me. They gave me some stretches, and they told me, you need to pick a new sport. You can't base your life now upon a
Mm.
sport that is solely dedicated to running. You know, I could still get away with it, but I couldn't, like, because I was running like 30 miles a week. And so I didn't realize it at the time, but I was pretty upset about it because I
Mm.
now know how important running is to me. I still go on runs, not as often. Like, when I'm doing well, I run like 1 to 2 times a
Yeah.
week and exercise and blah, 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 blah. So I thought I was done. I was like, cool. I've been running since I was in like sixth grade. I'm now a sophomore. I have a legitimate excuse. I'm just going to come home. And
Okay.
my dad was like, okay, well, like, what's your next sport? I was like, what the hell do you mean? He's like, you can't just come home and sit around. I was like, why not? He's like, it's not good for you. So that was one of his few things. He didn't have a lot of rules, but he thought it was unhealthy, and I agree with this. He thought it was unhealthy for a teenager to not have some type of like physical activity in their life. And furthermore, because you get home around 3:30, 4 p.m., he didn't like that idle time.
Right.
So he wanted me to join the basketball team because I played basketball
Okay.
like in the neighborhood growing up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not good at basketball. They're going to put me on the bench. He's like, so be on the bench. I was like, God damn it. So in retribution to
Yeah.
him, I joined the wrestling team because my PE teacher was the wrestling coach, and he would always ask,
Okay.
anybody that was listening to join the wrestling team, which
Yeah.
turned out to be one of the best decisions of my life, I think, actually.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
That's good.
I
Why is
bulked
that?
up. I bulked up. I was like a very skinny kid. I was always very small and very skinny. So
Okay.
I bulked up. I got in the best shape I'll ever be in my entire life. I got so comfortable with my body, because I
Okay.
now
Yeah.
felt comfortable, not in a fight, but like, if things went south, I had some skills at least. I had like a sense of camaraderie that I realized that I really, really enjoyed. Like I love being on a team. I really, really do.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
yeah, and
that's
I
good.
got to have some, like, I guess, other adult relationships with adults. I've always enjoyed relationships with adults. I was always the kid that got along with like teachers and stuff.
Yeah. I'm
Mhm.
sure. That actually doesn't surprise me now that you say that.
Not all
That
of them,
does
not all of them, but most of them. Most of
that
them.
doesn't surprise me.
No.
When you were showing me like how this whole thing works yesterday, and you told me like how you miss smiling at people because of the mask,
Yeah,
and you were like, I just like charming people, or like, is that
yeah.
what you said?
I like sharing I'm a charming guy and I like sharing it with people. Sue
That's
me.
okay. That's the thing. I thought about that like this morning.
Yeah.
I was like, I wouldn't say like you're a charmer because I feel like charmers like have to try.
Yeah, there's like
I
a
was just,
nefarious intent there.
yeah, I was like, I think you're just charming.
Yeah, but I enjoy. I was telling Annie about this. I feel like I call you both Annie and Ann. Does that ever bother you?
No, Anne's actually like my real name.
Okay, got it. Because I'm also a casual nicknamer. Like I will
Oh,
I
okay.
will nickname my friends without even thinking about it or shorten their name. Like Trisha's in chat, and I think for the first few months of our relationship, I was calling her Trish. And so I have to check because people have preferred names. So if you have a preferred name and I call you and I don't call you by it, please correct me and I will rectify that behavior.
It's true. Yeah.
But I was telling Annie that like one of the little joys in my life is going to Chipotle and trying to charm my burrito maker so that they give me more steak. And it works. It fucking works. You make someone feel good about their day, they're gonna be a little, because I've worked retail, I've worked restaurant. I fucking know how it goes. And I miss that. And with the mask, I can still do it, but like it's not the same. But it's one of life's little joys is just like
Yeah.
just sharing a little positivity with someone in real life and
It's
never
true.
seeing them ever again.
No, when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of missed that too. Just like smiling at people and being like, have a
Yeah.
good day. Because like I have also worked retail and like
Mhm.
hospitality as well, and it's like nice when someone genuinely like wishes you a good day, and you're like,
Totally. And
thank you, this sucks.
even like walking down the street, like I just call me crazy, but I like smiling at people.
Crazy,
You're crazy. You're crazy. Do you have any?
wild.
Do you have any little
How dare
things?
you?
Do you have any little things like that in your life that like just like a small joy that you haven't been able to do or you didn't even recognize? Like that was a recognition that COVID made me realize that I was like, I miss just sharing, like sending someone positivity in a platonic, civil manner.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be like mine
That
as
one?
well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you feel about going to the grocery store? It makes me anxious. It's always made me anxious.
I put my AirPods in.
Yes, music at the grocery store. Need it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
put my AirPods in.
What is the best way someone has ever approached you? Whether it's like for romantic intent or just in general. Like have you ever had like even it's at the grocery store and you're holding two melons and someone had the perfect anecdote about where those melons and it was perfectly engaging and not off-putting whatsoever?
Right.
Do you have any meet cutes that stand out in your life?
I don't think so.
No?
I feel like the only like the actual pretty meet cute would be like Tony.
Right. That's pretty good.
So
Mhm.
like the only one.
Do you have any like how like it's like a joke on TikTok that's like you're someone I would see at the airport and like make up a whole life with?
I've never seen that.
You've
on
never seen
TikTok.
that, but do you understand like the overall phrase of like you catch someone passing in public and you like never speak to them ever again, but you like think about them
Oh, I
like
don't
even
think
for a
so.
short amount of time.
I don't think so. I think that's just because like I have too many thoughts going in my
Okay,
brain.
you're too well adjusted for this train of thought that I was trying to go on because I'm definitely that kind of
You?
person.
Have
A-
you?
All the time, I don't like to approach people. I don't, and I've realized this about myself. I don't like to approach people, which
Yeah.
it's hard because it's you can't really make friends or like especially like dating and stuff. Like I will only approach someone in public after they've made it abundantly clear that they're interested, which so rarely happens. But like I would see someone like walking by in an airport or at like a coffee shop or whatever. And here's a story. This is gonna be a little bit of a ramble. So I was in San Francisco. I get on the bus because I took the bus and the train everywhere. This
Mhm.
gorgeous girl gets on, absolutely like breathtaking. And I like look at her and I'm like, oh my god, this girl is so pretty. And it's tough for me because I'm such like a outgoing, charismatic guy. But when it comes to approaching
Right.
women, I can't do it. And I used to be very shy growing up, so I think that's probably it.
Oh,
Um,
it's okay. I was kind of like I feel like I was kind of like an ugly kid growing up. So
Oh, I was a late bloomer. Like
I was a
very
late bloomer
late.
too. Like even after like well after college. Like
Oh, okay. I was like senior year of high school.
I mean, I was okay in senior year of high school,
Mhm.
but like college was rough and after college was rough obviously because of my drinking. So I feel
Yeah.
like this is actually the best I've ever looked in my life. So
You look phenomenal. You've always looked
Thanks.
phenomenal since I've known you.
Oh, thanks. Well, we're talking about you now.
Okay. So I get on the bus with this girl, absolutely breathtaking. And it depends on my mood. Sometimes it's like, basically my move is like, I'll come up with a way to like make a joke. And then depending on how they react to that, Like they're either going to start a conversation or they're not. And so I feel like I did something and like maybe she smiled or whatever. And we kept doing a thing where we kept like looking at each other. And I don't know why. Normally that would be enough for me. The fact that you keep looking at me. But I just was like, I don't know. I was starstruck. I couldn't do it. We were on the bus for like, we're on the train for like 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. She gets off. That's the end of it. And I'm like, damn, like, why didn't I say anything?
Aw.
Fast forward a few months. I'm getting on the train again. I'm going home. She fucking walks in. And this time she's standing right next to me. And we're doing the whole, I'm barfing in my mouth saying this story. We're doing the like catching each other's reflection in the bus window kind of thing, in the train window. And so finally, like, 2 seats open up and we sit down. And so I start talking with her and we wind up going out. And it's a fine date. Like we get coffee, we make out in the park. Like it's a fun date. I love making out in general, but also on first
In
dates.
general?
On first dates, I feel like it really clears a lot of stuff. Like I'm not saying have sex, but like if you're connecting with someone, just make out right then and there, because I feel like it's gonna determine.
I agree.
It's gonna determine what you want to do.
That's what happened with me and Tony. Like after we had established that we had like feelings for each other.
You gotta do it. You gotta touch it. So
Yep.
So no stories, like nothing comes to mind like that. Of like that one actually worked out because we wound up just life threw us back into each other again.
Yeah. Actually,
All right,
I
heck
kind of
yeah.
did have like a main character moment.
Yes,
last
main
week.
character moment.
I did. Now that I think about it, so this was literally a week ago.
Hmm.
So last Saturday night,
A
the
week
night
ago.
before,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. So last Saturday night, the night before,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like scrolling through Hinge,
Oh, yeah.
just like seeing like
Mm-hmm.
who,
Checking
and
out the local talent.
I have preferences. Okay, I have standards. So
Okay. What are the preferences on the app for you?
preferences.
Yeah, like you set the app, right? There's like age or nose or whatever. Tell us just what did you mean by that? What are your preferences? What are your standards?
Like there's a certain like distance. Like I have
Sure.
to like limit how far I have to drive.
Yes.
I'm not.
Mine's like 23 miles. What's yours?
Yeah. 23.
Just because that was the distance from my house to the ocean. So I wasn't gonna go further than like I wasn't going further south than Santa Monica in LA. It'd be too far.
Oh, well, mine's 50, but I feel like that's just because
It's
San
different in
Diego's
San Diego.
so
Okay, so 50.
Yeah.
Do you have? I have an age deal breaker too.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah. What's your range?
I think it's well, it's younger, just because I tend
Yeah.
to attract. I tend to attract.
Yeah,
that,
and there's
that-
some good younger guys out there.
Yeah.
I've dated
right
older.
now- huh?
I said I agree. I've dated older.
Yeah. So I think right now it's 26,
Okay.
and then my highest is like 35.
35. Okay. Mine is I recently bumped it up. It's now
Okay.
20. It's 23 because I'm 26. You're 28.
I'm 28.
28. Yeah. So mine's 23,
Okay.
and then I go as high as I think either 29 or 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty.
Plus or minus 3, and I have hangups on age.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think it's because I'm a younger brother, and I've always been surrounded by older people. So like, I went to a commuter school, so I was the youngest. At 22, I got a fancy suit and tie downtown job, making bank, and so I was
Nice.
the very youngest. The next person there was like 26 or 27. We wound up dating.
Wow.
Long story.
Okay.
I've told you about my ex that is now married to the guy she was with before me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one. And then I moved
Okay,
to LA, and
wow.
most people are younger in LA because people move here at 18. They skip that. So for the first time in my life, I'm like older and stuff. But for me, it's about like maturity and life stage. And personally speaking, that's usually about 23 now. Because like, you're post college, maybe you're working.
Okay.
I don't know. What's the oldest you've ever dated?
The oldest I've dated,
Yeah.
I think, was 34.
And how old are you?
I was 28.
Oh, okay. Got it.
No, 27. It was like a couple months before I turned 28.
How was that relationship? 28 and 34 is totally fine.
Yeah.
I thought you were
was-
going to say 34 and 24. I was going to be like,
Oh no, that's like the biggest age gap I've had, because I've
Okay.
always historically dated.
What's the youngest you've dated?
Younger. Huh?
What is the largest age gap on the younger end that you've done?
Well, Tony was probably the youngest,
So
but
he
we didn't
was,
like date. It was just like a romantic
got it. He
interest.
was 22 and you were 25?
I was 22. Yeah, but I turned 26 that year.
Got it. That was similar. I was 22 turning 23, and I think she was 26 turning 27.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the largest age gap I've ever done as well. So I guess like four and a
Mm.
half, 5 years.
Like younger, and then that was the largest age gap older.
How do you feel about large age gaps?
Um, ugh.
On either end. Let's talk about, yeah, on either end.
Well, what do you like on either end for both? Like, what do you mean?
What is the largest age gap you feel comfortably going older?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Hmm. I feel like I feel like that depends on
The
like
person and
how
stuff, yeah.
well the person takes care of themselves.
Sure. Let's say they're a fine person. Everything's fine. There's someone you would
Okay.
date. The only thing is the age. At what point does it start going like, I don't know.
I would say probably 10 years.
10. Okay, so a 9-year relationship difference is doable for you on the
Yeah,
higher
older,
end.
for older.
Okay,
Older.
and what about young? Obviously, it's different for younger, right? Because 9 years would put you at
Yeah.
what, 19?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So what about
Yeah.
it's different, right? Because maturity and obviously. So
Right, yeah.
yeah,
So right now, the youngest that I'd probably consider dating would probably be like 25.
25. Okay.
Consider.
Yeah, it's interesting how that works. And then, do you find that it's different at all, given if you're seeking a male partner as opposed to a female partner,
Um,
or would you say that it kind of matches
yeah,
up?
actually kind of. Yeah,
In what ways
actually.
is it different?
I think I prefer women who are just a few years older than me
Gotcha.
than I am.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is anyone else in your household creative professionally?
My sister is very creative. She has a very creative eye. She owns her own wedding videography business
That's right. Got it.
and she is very good.
Hmm.
She's very good. I'm actually hoping to like she's here in San Diego. She lives in Chicago with her husband, but she flew out here cuz she has a couple of like weddings and like
Right.
shoots and stuff. So I'm hoping to like she doesn't have a second shooter for a wedding next Friday, so I'm hoping to like be her second shooter. We can like work together.
Ooh, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. So, but she's very, but she's also because she owns her own business. She
Hmm.
like is like a boss and like makes bank and like
Yeah.
she's really good at what she does.
Do you feel like you guys would work seamlessly together? Or would you need any like boundaries or ground rules or anything?
No, I mean, I pretty much I know that she's gonna be like running the show, so I'm obviously
Hmm.
gonna like let her like tell me what I need to do and everything
Right.
like that. But I
Okay.
feel like we work pretty well together in general.
And you'd have no problem like stepping into like a subordinate role with her?
No, I actually write for her. I actually copyright for her
Oh,
blog.
okay. That's
So
right. Oh, okay. Yeah.
we already do actually work. I forgot about that. It's been a while because of that.
Mhm.
I've been doing this full time psychic
Right.
job.
Right.
But we actually just like reconnected on that. She was like, "Can you still write my blog?" And I was like, "Yes, of course."
Yes, of
So
course. Got it. Well, I want to be conscientious of your time. I don't want to. We can. I'm happy to keep chatting for a little bit. Usually, we'd wrap up in probably like another 30-ish minutes, but I don't want to like take
I'm
too much
happy
of
to
your
keep
time.
chatting.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about love then, if that's okay.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. What's your relationship with love?
Um, self love or like what kind? Like what kind of love?
Let's start with romantic love, the love we seek in others.
It's been rough.
Hmm. I think a
Just in
lot of
like
us would connect with that right off the bat.
yeah, just in the last like 5 years because I was in this like addiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all of my relationships have just been like I've had like actual exclusive like long term. I think the longest relationship I've been in, I haven't even been in a relationship like more than 3 years.
Hmm.
So and I've had a lot of like I think a lot of people could also relate to this too. I've had a lot of like almost relationships as well.
What does that mean?
You're asking me what that means.
Yeah.
um I feel like that means like you invest in each other emotionally, maybe even like physically, um,
Hmm.
and you give each like time and energy is put in, and then when it comes to actual like conversation of like committing or like being exclusive, it doesn't really get to that point.
So you've had a few relationships that, in your words, like you've invested this time and energy, but you were not committed to each other, you were not exclusive. Once you get to the conversation of like labels or monogamy or exclusivity, the relationship then ends, and that's happened a few
Well,
times.
I wouldn't say even labels. It would just be like, what is like, what is
Yeah,
this?
let's define
Yeah.
this. Okay.
When we have that conversation, like
Yeah.
it kind of like that's when it kind of like falls apart.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I feel like I think that's more common
yeah,
than
totally.
we would like to admit.
100%. That's been my, like, I guess, latest sphere. Because as you know, like I have been a serial monogamous basically since I was like 17, being
Yeah.
in, relationships that spanned anywhere from like a year and a half, 2.5 years, with small snippets of being single in between.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to LA, after about 6 months, I met my girlfriend Grace. We were together for like a year and a half, and then we broke up. I'm so bad with like timing and stuff. It must have been September of 2019, I suppose.
Okay.
So like just shortly after my birthday. And then I was like,
Okay.
okay, I'm going to be single for the first time in my adult life. Like I'm going to consciously be single. I've had a few flings and trysts here and there. One that was kind of like on and off again, and COVID hit and it got a little messy. And then that made me go like, I need to define. So yeah, totally get that. There were a few where it was like, we got to that point where it was like, let's define this. And I was like, I'm not looking to do that, But so yeah, so I've been thinking a lot about love lately, which we've talked about it and stuff.
Yeah.
Would you say overall, and don't forget our safe word, are you afraid of love at all? How do you feel about love, or is it
No,
is it
I
just
don't
a
think
positive?
so.
Okay, I think
I
I
don't
am.
think. You think you are really?
Yeah, I
What
think
makes you think
I don't think I understand it.
that? Okay.
I don't think. See, my issue.
What don't you understand about it?
I don't understand what
Actually,
it. Yeah,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't understand what it is. You know what I mean? Like I've definitely been in love before, but like we grow and we change, right? And I don't believe in a soulmate. I believe there are soulmates. Like I'm so different than I was 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So even those loves that I was in, like I can't guarantee I would feel the same way today. In fact, I probably wouldn't. So due to the like malleable, I guess, definition of love, like I don't know how to define it, which obviously you're not supposed to be able to. And then something I think about a lot too is like, to a certain extent, we need to choose to have love in our life, right? We have to choose that this is an energy I want. It's work, a relationship. There's, the time, the closeness, the conversations, whatever. It has to be a definite choice. So I struggle with that too. I'm like, so in what capacity do we have to choose to have love in our lives? And in what capacity does love insert ourselves in our life? Because life is when we're busy making other plans. When I ask people about it, like my mom, she's like, you'll know when you'll know. And I'm like, okay, but like that doesn't help me now. It doesn't help me in my current state of being. So I don't know if it's fair to say like I'm afraid or I don't understand, because I struggle with labeling things in my life, because when I think I'm afraid, I'm like, I don't feel afraid. You know what I mean? Same thing with the shadow work kind of thing.
Right.
So I think about it a lot, and I don't know if I fully understand it. I know it'll come when it comes. And I know I'll need to decide. But I don't understand all the middle part of it. I understand the conclusion, but I don't understand the middle part.
Okay.
What about you? What are your thoughts on any of that?
I think the first thing I'm thinking of is like your birth chart and like why you would think that.
Yeah, it took me a while to come to this current state of being, though.
Really?
Yeah, because I used to love so freely.
Like you felt like you like fought it for a while?
No, I think I just I don't think I was thinking about it at all.
Okay.
Because I've definitely been in love before, and I have been in a lot of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been crazy in love in some of them and not in love in some of the other ones. So like, it just took me a while to I think I had to have those experiences to get to where I am now, where I'm being like present about it. And obviously love is one of those concepts that you can't fully rationalize it, right? Because it's by nature, it's an irrational thing. Yeah. Or it can be. So I think, yeah, it's interesting that you say that like my birth chart matches up with that, where I'm like, this is kind of a newer thing for me.
Yeah, well, the reason I say that is because, well, one, you're a Gemini rising.
Mm-hmm.
And
the Libra Venus is peeping out.
And you're Libra Venus, but they're both air signs. So air signs tend to intellectualize a lot of their thoughts and feelings and emotions. So it makes sense when you were like, I don't think I understand it. And I'm like, of course, an air sign
doesn't understand it.
rising and like no, like you not that you don't understand it, but you're in your head about it, which is not a bad. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
100%.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Love is probably one of the things I'm most in my head about, and sex too. Oftentimes,
Really,
I've gotten a
actually, now
lot
that I
better
think
about
about
that.
it, that also makes sense.
Yeah, well, now I'm talking too much, and I want to get your thoughts on love, but I'll just finish that thing. Yeah, because for me, as a heterosexual male, sex is very performative.
Mhm.
I'm also like a very like caring person, so like my partner's pleasure is like foremost to me, and that's when I know that I'm in a good, I guess, healthy sexual place, when I'm able to get out of my own head and just be present and enjoy it. But
Yeah.
love and sex and intimacy and stuff can be a very overthinking space for me, which is not. It's one of the few aspects in my life where I'm prone to overthinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's
What about you? Tell me. Can you ramble about love, please?
all about love.
Or what are your thoughts on it? Like, do you believe it exists? Have you had it before? Have you never had it before? It doesn't scare
Well,
you.
yeah.
You've
I
already
mean,
said.
no, like, well, I obviously like. I mean, like romantic. Are you talking about romantic love?
Let's start with romantic love. Yes, yeah, because I feel like
Okay.
that's easy. It's both easier and harder to define.
Easier and harder to define.
Yeah.
Great. Um, romantic love.
Have you been in love before?
I think yes. Yeah.
See, even
Couple
right
times.
there, I think
That's good. You caught that. I think so. A couple times, or in love, or that when you were talking, I was actually thinking about a couple relationships that I
Mhm,
had, like
mhm.
when I was like in my earlier like teen years, like in high school, where I
Yes,
said that I loved someone, and I'm like,
sure.
but did I really like really love them, or
Yeah.
like was it just the feelings of like love?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
It's hard to say.
Like feeling like I love them. Yeah.
Because if you were
So
still with them, everybody would agree that you actually did love them. So it's like, I personally, like my high school girlfriend who I like lost my virginity to, that I loved, like I know in my heart, like I loved her. There's a different sort of love than my college girlfriend that I was like really seriously considering having a life with. It's different, but I
yeah,
don't, one's not less than the other just because I, you know, was younger and wasn't, it didn't go the distance.
yeah. That's true. You know, when you said like love is something that you choose, I mean, I was gonna come back to that. Like
Mhm.
that's 100% like what I think love is. Like you can like feel like really feel like really strongly about someone and like have
Yeah.
these really intense emotions and like emotionally like really connected to them and
Mhm.
intimately really connected with them. But like at the end of the day, like you do have to like choose them.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting? I also is that is that beeping me?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Is anyone messaging you on Discord?
I don't think so.
I'm afraid to click away because that's what made the
Let me
thing
check.
stop working in the first place.
Ah, what is happening? I can't even like click it.
No, I don't think it's me. I think it's because I have streamer mode enabled. Damn it, my thing. Anytime I mess with Discord, I lose you.
Let me see. I'm trying to even. Oh, there we go. Boop, boop. Okay, I turned that off.
Somebody, you were just too popular. People wanted to chat with you. Okay,
I know what it
that's right.
is. I'm in a TikTok creator
Yeah,
association.
yeah. I thought it was me. We all thought it. Everybody in chat thought it was themselves because that's such a. We actually have a bit alert that is the Discord sound, and it gets me all
Oh,
the time.
really?
So, anyways, you had a few relationships when you were younger.
Well, there was one relationship that I had
Mm-hmm.
where we actually had an open relationship.
Wow, how old were you?
I was 24.
Okay, and I didn't mean wow as in that's like a weird thing, just in a
Oh no.
interesting. Please tell me more. I've thought a lot about
Yeah.
monogamy as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, and it's interesting because people are always surprised when I tell them that, and they're even more surprised when when I say that I was the one who initiated it.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about it? What was it like?
So it actually like wasn't as like well, we dated for like a little over 2 years,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and I approached the topic with them like
So you had been monogamous for 2 years.
yes, well,
Okay, all right, okay.
also this ex also cheated on me,
Infidelity, yeah.
so yeah, so when I approached them about like open relationship, they were like, "Oh yeah, of course," but they were already like cheating on me beforehand.
Did,
So
oh, did you when you initiated the conversation of non-monogamy? Did you know that they had already been unfaithful?
I th- we I knew that something had happened
Mm-hmm.
because they had told me something had happened. Like, hey, like I went over to this person's place and they kissed me, and I was like pissed about it. And I was like, is that all that happened? And they said yes. And then after we broke up, like 2 months after we broke up, I found out from the person that they cheated on me
Wow.
with, straight from their mouth, that they had done more than that. He had actually
Oh my
slept with them.
gosh! Wow. How do you
So
feel about? Because I think about this a lot too. Like betrayals in relationships. Are you? Because some people say if you break the trust, it's over. It's done forever. Other people think we can work through it. Where do you fall on that?
um I think if the other person like is willing to work through it,
Yeah,
why not try and work through it?
I'm with you. So it's not a total deal breaker the second you hear about it. There are circumstances you could think where you could continue to work and salvage the relationship.
Yeah, like why not like try to communicate at least?
Yeah,
Like
we're the same in that. I could see a
yeah.
situation where, for me though, they'd have to be remorseful.
Yeah,
They'd have to
absolutely.
have a good reason. We'd have to do like a ton of work and talking and maybe even therapy or whatever. Um,
Right.
but even thinking about it really hurts my feelings.
Oh.
So I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah,
I've only been
it was
cheated
not
on
fun.
in high school, so I don't even know what that means. Maybe they
You
just
were
made
cheated
out.
on in high school?
Yeah, but I don't even know what that means because I never we
Well, you
didn't.
know what also hurt more is that I was living with this person. Like
Oh
we
my
were living
god,
together.
I hate
So,
that. I hate that. There are so many. There are so many shitty
and
people on this planet. But
and make it worse, this
mhm.
person also broke up with me in the middle of Disneyland.
Well, at least you're in the happiest place on earth.
Exactly,
Wait,
Zach.
and you guys carpooled?
Yeah, I drove.
So you had to drive this person home?
Yeah, I should have left his ass
You
up
should
there.
have.
I should have.
Oh
I
my
made him
god.
sit in the back seat though. I was like, I don't want to fucking even look at you.
Did you just like blast music?
I did actually. I rolled the windows down and blasted music.
What a dick.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
have some forethought. At least take a separate car.
well, I don't think that was the intention. Like there was a big fight, and then I think it just like in the heat of the moment they were like,
Yeah.
I think he'd been thinking about it for a while.
Have you broken up with people or have you only been broken up with?
I have only been broken up with. I've only ended things with one person. That was only a few months ago.
Got it. How do you feel about that? Do you
Um,
think it's just coincidence or do you think there's something to it?
it sucks, but like if I'm being frank, like when I
Yeah.
look back at all those relationships, it's like, yeah, I understand why they ended. Like they needed to end.
Yeah.
Like those wouldn't have gone anywhere.
Are you a kind of person in romantic relationships where and I have definitely fallen prey to this before. Are you someone that's like, we're gonna make this work no matter what, and you have trouble letting go? Or are you on the opposite end of the spectrum where you're just like, first sign of trouble, you're out of here, or somewhere in between?
Um, no, like because communication is like the biggest, like is the most important thing to me in any
Yeah, same.
relationship, especially romantic relationship. So it's like as long as you're just like communicate to me like what's going on, then like we're like why not try and like yeah just like try and make it work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But obviously, like if you've been trying to make it work for a long time and it hasn't, maybe that's just time to reevaluate whether you actually are even compatible.
Yeah.
You know what I
Do
mean?
you believe that there's someone out there for everybody?
Um, romantically, are we still on romantic love?
Yeah, yeah, still in
Let's
romantic.
stick with that. We'll just stick with that. Okay.
For now,
Um,
yeah.
I think so.
I
I
think
think
so too.
everybody has a chance, has an opportunity.
How is the open relationship?
Oh, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't as like promiscuous as people I
Sure, yeah.
think it is.
Hmm.
Um, I think there were only two people that I had like trysts with, and we actually had like set boundaries and like
Yeah.
everything, and
You
like
gotta.
everything like that. So
Did it
I
help
only had
your did it help
had
your
two trysts. So
did it help your relationship at all, you feel, or no?
um,
Well, obviously it ended, but like in the moment, do you feel like it was a positive, healthy thing?
I think so. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because it just really like opened up a level of communication of like
Totally.
just like honesty and like trust and I don't know.
Did you guys have to set any rules? Because like I have had and continue to have like non-monogamous friends and stuff, and I'm always curious. Like,
Yeah.
um, Did you set any like? Because I've had friends that are like, we have like a nothing in our household rule kind of thing. Like, did you have any rules?
We had like nothing in our house, or at least nothing in our bedroom.
Yeah.
Like nothing in our bedroom. So,
Living
uh,
room, totally fine.
well, like obviously, like in the living room, like we're not gonna make sure like the other person's not there.
Yeah, totally.
So, but yeah, it wasn't both times. It wasn't either in the living. It wasn't in
Got
the
it.
house.
Did
So,
anyone? I'm assuming it sounded like the communication was good, so this probably didn't happen. But was there any like accidental walk-ins or catching or anything like that? No.
no,
How would you have felt if there was? It probably would have been like, "Why didn't you tell me?" kind of
I
thing.
would have died. I would have died. I would have been like,
Wouldn't have jumped in there.
huh?
Wouldn't have
No,
jumped on in.
no,
I'm just kidding
no.
around. Yeah, I think that's a large
Not. And then that's another misconception is
Right.
like open relationship. You just want to have threesomes. I don't like threesomes.
Have you had any threesomes in the past?
No,
I haven't
no.
either. I
They just don't appeal to me. They just don't appeal to me.
They don't appeal to me either, and I've actually, believe it or not, I've been propositioned quite a few times in my life for a threesome, to
Zach, I believe that.
both to be the third person and also like people asking to join my relationship. And I've turned it down. Like I've probably been propositioned like maybe like 5 or 6 times in my life,
Wow,
combined.
okay.
Yeah, which I feel like is quite a bit. And I equate it to that. I think I'm just like good vibes, and I'm like not seeking it out, and I'm like chill. So I think that's the energy people want. You know, like you don't want some dude that's like fantasizing or fetishizing it. You know, you just want
Yeah.
like someone that's just like chill and stuff. But this is a much longer story. This is I don't know if this might be
It's
TMI.
good.
This might be TMI, but so in I had a pretty close herpes scare.
Wow.
This is the only time that I've had something like this. So basically, the last girlfriend and I in San Francisco broke up. The one that wound up getting married to the guy before me. It
Mhm.
really hurt my feelings. It's a longer story. It's messy
Aw.
because it's there's a lot of factors to it. But anyways,
Yeah.
I was now like single. I had no interest in being around or seeing women or being romantic because like sex for me is like a very like emotional. It's about the connection kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not as physical for me. Like I enjoy the physical, but like for me, it's about giving pleasure, receiving it, affirmation, connection, all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. So I don't typically enjoy one night stands for that reason because they're not those things. I wound up going to a bar. It was like the San Francisco State alumni bar. It was like a piano bar, and a lot of people would perform
Right.
there. So I went for like a going goodbye. I went for a goodbye party. There was a girl there that I knew from college that I always thought was like super cute and like kind of always like thought about. So I start chatting her up. We're outside making out because make out, guys, make out with more people. In college, my like freshman year,
Making out is fun.
I
Making out is
saw
fun.
I saw my buddy making out with another friend, and then they just like made out and like never like it was never a thing. And I remember talking with him. He's like, "Dude, just making out," and I was like, "I got to make out with more people. That's like one of my goals in life is to kiss more
Yeah.
beautiful people." It's like, anyways. So we're outside making out, and she had been chatting up this other girl who I also knew from it's fucking theater department. So she's like, "I'll be right back." She went over, chatted with her for a little bit, came back, and she's like, "Do you want to come home with both of us?" And I think that was when I knew that it wasn't for me, because I was like, the fact that I'm churning down like casual sex with two beautiful women that are interested in me and I have no
Yeah.
strings to anyone right now proved to me that I'm just like, it's just like not for me.
Yeah. I think I would have the same reaction too. Like
Mhm.
actually no, there was one time where I was propositioned with my best friend. So it
Mm.
was like more than a threesome.
Yeah, that'd be weird. And I could see situations where I think I would mind if with my partner, like I think like my wife, like the person that I am going to spend the rest of my life with, I
Mhm.
could see a situation where, maybe we would both enjoy bringing someone in together. But
Yeah.
I kind of don't view that as a threesome. I kind of view that as like a 2 versus 1 kind of thing.
Okay.
But it would have to be like very clear boundaries. Like we'd have to really discuss it and stuff.
Yeah.
For both of us. But anyways, the herpes scare. So I wound up going home with the first girl. I turned down the threesome, and I was like, "Hey,
Right.
feel free to go home with her." And she's like, "No, I'm gonna go home with you." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, okay.
And then
Wow.
your story made me think of this because I found out later, like we hooked up, it was fine, it was whatever. I realized that I was like really in pain because we spent a lot of time just like chatting because she was a friend.
Mhm.
I had known her for years. Like we
Yeah.
went to theater school together. So like we had sex, but we wound up like chatting, and then even afterwards, like I was like, "Hey, like let's grab breakfast if you have time," kind of thing. And I was like, hey, like, thanks for just like tonight. Like, clearly I just needed to like talk with someone. And she's like, no problem. So it was a very beautiful night. It was fine. We went our
Yeah.
separate ways. I found out from my next partner a few months later. We did the whole like, you have a partner, you know, when you get a new partner, like you kind of discuss sexual history, you know, like
Oh,
when's the
right.
last time you've been tested, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then she's like, hey, she's like, maybe this is, she's like, I hope this isn't uncomfortable. And she's like, but I kind of heard through the grapevine, did you hook up with, let's call her Sally? Did you hook up with Sally? And I was like, yeah, a few months ago. Why do you ask? And she's like, well, do you know Sally has herpes? And I was like, I did not know that at all. And we even had a conversation before I have sex with anybody. I'm like, hey, this is the last time. Like even like one night stands. I'm like, hey, this is the last time I have been tested. This is the partners I've been with. I'm currently good to engage in this. Are you? And she was like,
Yeah.
yes. And we actually, this is probably TMI, but we forewent some of the protection because I had known her for like 4 years. And she
Right.
was like, I'm fine. I'm fine. And I was like, I trust you. I've literally, and that's when it just went to, that's when I learned, I was like, you can't actually trust anyone.
Yeah.
So I went and I talked with my doctor and I was totally fine. I found out like, I think on Cinco de Mayo, I didn't have her cell phone number. I only had her Facebook Messenger. And I was like, hey, call me when you have a chance. She didn't
Yeah.
call me till that night. I was already a little drunk because it was Cinco de Mayo. I'm not proud of this, but I tore her a new one. I was on the side of the street. I berated her.
What did you say?
I was just like, first of all, I asked her, I was like, do you have herpes? And she's like, yes. And I was like, that's so fucking uncool. I don't think I called her any names, but I was like, that's so fucking stupid. How could you do that to me? I thought you were my friend. Because I was mad, I was mad for myself, but I had a new partner who I cared about and I put them at risk without knowing it. And I tore apart. I was like, that is some of the most selfish behavior you could ever do. Like, I thought you cared about me. Like, I thought you were my friend. Why would you lie to me? And she started crying. And I just feel bad about it. I feel a little bad about it, but I also was I think totally justified.
I mean, that was, yeah.
Because you can't cure
You
that.
should tell someone about that. Yeah.
I wish I would have had the wherewithal to ask what form it was. Because it's totally possible it was like oral.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know. And my mind went there. But yeah, so there's my story of being offered threesome, declining it, going home with one of them, and having one of the worst. And it's just so shitty because like I didn't at that point in my life I had not been hooking up with people unless I was in like a long-term relationship with you. So the one time I decided to hook up with someone, and I decided to throw caution to the wind because like I feel like you can't be any safer than someone you've known for years.
But you learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson. So, what about you? Any scares in that capacity?
No.
No. Well,
No.
you had your fun with the DUI, right? So you had that spice of life.
Yeah, that was enough fun for me.
That was enough. That was enough fun for me too. And yeah,
Yeah.
So kids, if you're listening, be safe.
Yes. Don't do it.
Yeah. And
also be safe.
And I drunkenly berated this woman on the phone on Cinco de Mayo.
No.
Yeah. But you know, if you're somehow listening now, Sally, I want you to know I forgive you. I forgave you like right after. I just please don't lie to people. Please don't lie to people.
Yeah, not cool.
Because like you should have just told me, you know, and then I would have been able to make the decision what I wanted to do.
That's why I was kind of like pissed when I broke up with that ex, and then like all my friends kind of like chose his side. I was pissed because I was like, no one said anything, and I was like, I'm more offended at the fact that you thought I couldn't handle a conversation than you just like not saying anything to me and like being honest.
I was as upset too because those were my like friends at the bar, and no one thought to say something to me. Like I told her, I was like, hey, if we're ever out in public again and I see you going home with someone, I'm going to have a conversation with that person. If you don't. And I was upset that because people know I went home, and I even chatted with a guy who's a cool guy because he was also like flirting with her, and I just turned to him and like we had, I guess, kind of like that bro-y thing where it was like, hey, like, are you da-da-da? And I just looked at him and like, I'm so honest. I was just like, hey man, like I just got dumped and honestly, I just want to make out with that girl. And he's like, go do that, buddy. But people knew, and they should have said something. They should have been like, hey, just so you know.
Something.
They should have, and I think that's what really got me going. So back to love. You're not afraid of romantic. You're not afraid of it. You do think it exists.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you kept saying other forms of love. So what does that speak to you? What does that mean to you when you kept prefacing romantic love? What was the other
Yeah.
form of love you were referencing?
Self-love, platonic
Self-love.
love,
Okay.
familial love.
What's your relationship with self-love? Is this
It's pretty positive right now just because I'm
yeah.
at a good point in my life.
Was there a time in your life where self-love was not a positive endeavor?
Yes.
Okay. What
When I was
what
in my addiction.
what are some signs of people who have let's say we're talking to someone right now that has a negative relationship with self-love. So what are some things we can tell them to help them have a more positive relationship, or what are some signs to help people understand if they have a negative relationship? Because I'm
Yeah.
confident, myself included, a lot of people have a negative relationship with self-love and they're not even aware of it.
Yeah. Um, that's a good question.
I know it's a broad question, so feel free to focus on
Well,
one aspect of it. Or,
um, I would say, I think accountability is like a first step. I
okay,
think
what does
so.
that what does that mean?
If you're not able to, I think just own up to
Hmm.
the choices that you make for yourself.
Hmm.
Like I don't know if I'm saying this right.
No, 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 that makes sense. You
I'm
gotta,
still trying to formulate the thought.
yeah, you have to take responsibility for your actions and how they impact you.
Yeah, like that's if you really like because you said like love is a choice, right? So when it comes to yourself, like you have to choose to like take
Hmm.
care of yourself and you have to choose to like try to create the best life for yourself
So
within the circumstances that you can.
how did you do that? How did you transition from a negative relationship with self love to a positive one? Were there any actions, or was it just kind of a mental kind of thing? Because I know you meditate now, you have your
Yeah.
spiritual work. What was that transition like for you?
Um well honestly like I feel like everything always comes back to like my sobriety, like when I started getting sober. You
Sure,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
Um so the first step was like for me was like physical health. Like
Okay,
obviously like drinking every day for like 5 days, like that
yeah,
takes a toll on you physically.
100%. I
So,
can't even drink like a few beers. Like if I hang out with my family and like we're having like a boozy weekend, like by the second day, I'm like I feel gross.
yeah. I mean, physical health, and I'm not
Hmm.
saying like physical health like losing weight, like you have to
Right.
lose weight. I'm just saying like doing something that makes you feel like you can honor and celebrate your body the best way that you can.
Hmm.
So, for me, that's rollerblading. That's
Yeah,
my exercise. Like that's also
love
like
that.
just it emotionally, like it just kind of like fulfills me. I know
Yeah.
why it does.
Why? Why
And
does it
I
emotionally
know the
fulfill you?
astrological reason why it does.
Tell us.
Aries third house moon would like rollerblading because it's something that's very quick and something that's very fast. And also, roller typically like skating or like rollerblading, you do it out like within your community, within your neighborhood, right?
Hmm.
Like, and community in the neighborhood actually like that falls within the third house. Like the third
Yeah,
house talks about like being involved in your being out in your community and like being active and all that
yeah.
good stuff. But I also like exercise that doesn't make me feel like I'm exercising.
Those are the best.
So that, and I know the astrological reason for that. That's my Cancer Mars.
Got it. What
Make it
is
not mean
what is your Venus in?
Sagittarius.
And what does that mean?
It gets a lot of I feel like Sagittarius gets like a lot of like hate because people paint Sagittarius as like flaky and non-committal and um a little like reckless sometimes.
Hmm.
So Sag Venus is someone that uh, I Sag Venus gets a lot of hate because this is typically known as like the flightiest of the Venus signs. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Okay.
So, but it's more about like where like the house that my Venus falls in.
Hmm.
That's my issue with my Venus.
So all the planets also have all of your, I guess, placements also have houses attached with them as well.
All the planets and there's certain like asteroids too that like are in our birth
Okay.
chart as well. They all fall in a certain one of the 12 houses. But because there's less planets than houses, there could be
Hmm.
some houses that don't have any planets. But that doesn't mean that house still doesn't have an important part in your
Got it.
birth chart.
Sorry we
So
made you give us like such an astrology lecture today.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
I like talking about it,
I
so
figured I was like it's one of the pinpoints or milestones of your life. So I was like, there's no way we can have a conversation without addressing it.
yeah, I mean, that I started getting serious with it, like, around 2015. Like, I just started, like,
Mhm.
looking more into it on Twitter. I learned a lot from astrology, like, through Twitter, actually.
It's a great
So,
social media can be a fantastic resource.
yeah, that's great.
If your life had a thesis, what do you think it would be?
A thesis?
Yeah, like if there was a thesis to your life, like a one or two sentence that talked about what that referenced the frame of mind for the paper that is your life, what would it be?
Hmm. I don't know. Can you
Would
come
you?
back to that?
Yeah, would you like to hear mine? Would that help you?
Yes, yeah, actually, I would.
I think my thesis has been like discovering my sense of self and my sexuality outside of like toxic masculinity and like gender
Okay,
norms. Yeah,
very
that's
cool.
one of the things
Nice.
I push up against the most.
I would okay, now that you say that, that has actually started getting to be
Yeah, yeah, totally.
gracious. I would say probably learning to find like
Hmm.
my own inner path, like my own inner light, and like learning to trust my intuition and my gut feeling more, and like really lean into that.
Have you had any impactful mentors over your life?
Um,
It's okay if you haven't. I don't consider myself like someone who has found many mentors. It's kind of difficult.
I wouldn't say like mentors, but just like really cool like people, I guess.
Important figures.
I can only think the only person that like really I mean, the only person like I really remember like really helped me discover myself and like work through myself was like my therapist, but like that was like a few years ago.
Got it. Do you still see them?
No, I haven't. I'm trying to get health insurance right now.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
I haven't seen her in a long time.
Therapy is something I think everybody would benefit from.
Absolutely.
I need to look into. I switched insurance. I turned like 26, and I had to figure out the whole insurance kind of
Yeah.
shebang. So I've been meaning to look into if it's covered. I would imagine it's not.
I know. I have to probably not.
Got it.
I have to get on that soon, but
Well, I want to be conscious of your time. Thank you so much for chatting with us. Us, we could just chat all day. I guess just to wrap up, like, is there any like lingering things you wanted to come back to, or any questions you have for either me or chat, and then we'll get another plug where everybody can find you before we close out.
I guess well, if any people had any questions in chat,
Yeah. Okay. Why don't we open this, guys? Are there any questions? Anybody listening? I think they're pretty enthralled right now because chat's not typing too much. But if anyone has any quick questions, we'll go through. Um,
maybe.
yeah, we could also do some.
Or did you have any like silly questions? I don't feel
I
like
have
we
some.
need
I have some silly questions. Yeah.
okay.
Toilet paper, over or under?
Over.
Over. It's got to be. If you're under, you're
Yeah.
you're crazy. What are some guilty pleasures that you're willing to admit?
Oh my god. Willing to admit?
Yeah.
Well, Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I can like put away a pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream like easily.
Really? What's your go-to flavor?
Either chocolate therapy or the Tonight Dough.
Okay, the Tonight Toe.
Yeah.
Got it. Someone says drop your skincare routine.
Drop my skincare routine.
Yeah.
Okay. For taking off my makeup, I'll start with that.
Okay.
Right now, like just okay. Baby oil to remove eye
Mhm.
makeup and lips. And then I use a DHC cleansing oil to get the rest of the makeup off. Rinse and then double cleanse with Curology cleanser.
Okay.
And then that's just the cleansing process. And then after his I use rose water toner. Actually, it's right here. Haha. Here we
Ooh.
go. Rose water toner, and then I always get this word wrong. I think it's pronounced hyaluronic acid.
Okay.
It's the brand that I use smells amazing and it feels great on my skin.
Hmm.
And then I use retinol,
Ooh, yeah,
and
that's good.
eye serum, and then I use prescribed medication from Curology on
No
top.
wonder why your skin is so great. This is a whole formula.
It's a whole routine, and
Yeah.
then moisturizer, and then I use an eyelash serum, and that's all.
And you do this every day?
I do it every night.
Every night. Got it. Got
That's
it.
my night skincare routine.
Yeah.
That's the
Wow.
longest. Morning's pretty easy.
That's such a That's so in depth. I thought I had a pretty decent one, and it's compares nothing.
It's
to
a
that.
it's a process just because I just wear makeup. So
Sure.
like if I
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I'm
I'm
a
happy with
little
it.
I'm a little blessed in the skincare regimen. For most of my life I didn't even moisturize and I had no issues.
Really?
Well,
Well,
we don't teach men. I think it's changing now, but we don't teach men how to care for their skin,
that's
especially white men. You don't grow up with lotion.
that's true.
Whenever I would
My
put on
mom
lotion, my dad would say it's a scam
really?
because he's really against chapstick, which I do agree with because chapstick only treats symptoms; it doesn't treat the cause. And
Right.
I used to use chapstick, and then he's like, don't use chapstick for like a week, and he's like, you're gonna have the worst chapped lips of your life, but then your body will adjust, which they did.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, my mom always like instilled it in me and my and like all through well, maybe less my brother, but like me and
Mhm.
my sister especially to like have a good skincare routine. So I've been washing my face like nightly and daily since I was like, I don't know, in elementary school.
That's perfect. I'm doing it now. I even got my brother in on it. But I have like
Oh,
I do pretty basic, like just the basic, like Sierra V cleanser and moisturizer, and then I have a little bit of retinol I use because
okay.
I've got some pretty bad
Retinol's
wrinkles
important.
up here. Yeah.
Retinol's important, especially as you get older.
Somebody says, what astrology books or websites would you recommend to learn more?
Books. Can I grab them?
Yeah, but please do.
Okay, 1 second. Ah.
Yeah. And guys, if you have any more questions, we're gonna wrap up here pretty soon. So
Oh wait, come on.
make sure you use sunscreen if you use retinol. Yeah, use sunscreen as well, guys. I went for a run the other day and I did not put on sunscreen.
And honestly, guys, like the reason why my skin has cleared up and will probably just like looks this way is because I stopped drinking. Like alcohol plays a big role
Totally,
in like
without a
my
doubt. Mm-hmm.
so that's why. Okay. These two books that I have, um, it's literally called The Only Astrology Book You'll Ever Need.
Oh, okay.
And it's by Joanna Martine Wolfolk. That's a name.
Sure is, yeah.
So it's actually like if you're just beginning, this is actually a very good, thorough book. Like if you're just, it talks about a lot of things, but it's not too technical, so it's really easy to digest if you're just getting started. And then there's this one. It's a little shorter, but it's called The Complete Guide to Astrology, and it's by Louise Eddington. And then the best website honestly is astro.com.
Mhm.
There's a lot of resources and a lot of tools, a lot of articles that you can use to understand your chart. But outside of websites, I recommend apps. So actually, let me check. I have a whole folder on my phone for
I love
astrology apps,
this. I love this.
of course. Okay. So I would recommend, first of all, if anyone
Mhm.
in chat has CoStar, delete it from your phone. It is garbage. It is trash. It is run by tech people and AI, not actual astrologers or people who care about astrology or provide thought-provoking educational content on astrology. It's trash. Best apps are The Pattern if you just want to get a less technical understanding of your chart. It's still very thorough. Time Passages is a little more technical with the language, but it's still, again, very thorough. And then Astro Future is also a good one.
Astro Future.
Yeah. So The Pattern, Time Passages, and Astro Future are good apps to start with.
All right. Thank you for educating us.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for donating 3 hours of your time. I really enjoyed
Of
having a
course.
conversation with
I'm
you.
so happy that
Yeah.
I told you, I was like, I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to this.
I was too. When my other friend, because if you guys didn't know, Annie was going to be our third guest, and then scheduling mishaps, and she was so gracious to jump up. Let's do one more plug. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on TikTok at
Mhm.
Annie Cabani or not Olivia Wilde. And then
Wait,
you
not
can
Olivia
find me,
Wilde?
no, I'm not Olivia Wilde. I'm not.
Oh, I thought that was a second handle. I was like, how do you have two handles?
That's the name of my like name, like on the very
The
top.
name. Okay, got it.
Yeah, not Olivia Wilde or Annie Cabani. And then Annie Cabani on Twitter, and then Instagram is Anniekin Skywalker.
Got it. And if people are interested in your medium work, how do they find that?
There is a link tree in my bio on TikTok, and the very first link is a link to my Square Up page. And you can see like what the sessions I offer,
Mhm.
and you can check my availability and also just book directly through there. I am going to be taking the first week of July off. I'm
Yeah,
forcing
you need
myself to
it.
do that. I'm forcing myself to do that. So, uh, that do not book for any that first week in July,
Got it. Got
please.
it. So anything
So,
after, you guys are good to go.
anything before and after, yes. And then you can also book through my Instagram. There's a book now button in my bio on Instagram, and that will take you to the exact same.
Oh, how'd you get that going?
Through Square Up.
Okay, that's so
Yeah.
cool. That's so
Yeah,
awesome.
it was really like my roommate's like my roommate's friends like told me about it because she has her own business as well. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, guys,
yeah.
be sure to check Annie out. I know we're getting so many comments of people enjoying the conversation. So if you enjoyed the
Yeah.
conversation, she is just as like vulnerable and genuine in all the work she does. She's someone that I feel blessed to have been able to meet through my journey
Aw.
on TikTok. And really, thank you for donating your time and thank you for
Of
your
course.
honesty and your vulnerability. I connected with a lot of it, and I'm sure so many other people did
Yeah.
as well.
Of course. Well, I'm very happy you asked. Let me know if you want me to guess another time.
100%.
Not like soon. Like I'll let you like
Yeah,
have
well,
a few.
I'll circle through everybody, and then I'll get back to the good
We'll
people.
we'll come back to that later.
Yeah, we'll come. Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Annie. I really appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
All right,
You're welcome, Zach.
I will chat with you soon.
All right.
All right, take
Bye.
care. Okay, friends. He was like, "No, sir. No, sir." Guys, remember all you guys making fun of how weird my hair looked when wet? Look how good it looks now. Trust the process. Trust the process. Got it. Let's have a post-mortem. How'd you guys think of the podcast? Any notes? Trisha, thank you so much for the host. Carly, thank you for gifting 2 subs to Suna and to Sean. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Alerts are back on. They're unmuted. I'm glad you guys liked it. Yeah. I figured I knew Annie would be a fantastic guest, just because she's a fantastic person. But I was confident that the flow of our conversation we would touch on so many great topics. How'd you guys enjoy it? I'm doing good. How are you doing? Great time to see. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Thanks, Alex. We're gonna wrap up here soon. Okay, friends. Yeah, no problem. Well, you guys know me. I'm an oversharer on these things. He's back. Oh, Trisha is live. Awesome.
I've definitely caught up a bit.
Alrighty. You can chat about it. Yeah, no, I built this community so I could data dump on you. I built this community so I could be like, here are my thoughts and feelings. Podcast. Well, I appreciate it, guys. If you were lurking in and out, this will be up on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify within the next day or so, a couple days. So keep an eye out for that if you want to listen to the whole thing through. I know it was 3 hours, so maybe there's some parts you want to go back in. We're the vessel in which you talk to yourself. Pretty much. I'm enjoying these. So the next one is going to be 2 weeks from now. So it'll be April 9th, which is also Mother's Day. I don't know who the guest is going to be yet. Violet was still interested. She just had an obligation pop up. Trisha's interested. Seb's interested. Laurel's interested. My friend Sue, Dragon Mistress, is interested. I have a whole slew of acting friends as well. And also my non-acting friends. Jesse's interested. Matt's interested. Let me give it a month. No, last time I think I did it in like 4 days. May 9th. May 9th. It's April at the moment. Listen, time, month, days, I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what day it is. It's not my job to say what day it is. It's my job to go, hoo, 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 hoo. Just like that. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Time isn't real. Do you think deers in the wood know what time it is? No. I'm trying to be like a deer in the woods. Can't hold Zach accountable for anything he says on a Sunday. It's so true. You can't hold me accountable for anything I say ever. There's an 85% chance I don't remember what I said 10 minutes ago. I should probably get a brain scan. I think. I have no short-term recollection. I don't even know where I am half the time. You know where my dad is? Huh? Yeah, we haven't done quotes in a minute, huh? It's okay, cry. I do cry. It's getting deeper than I want to, but can't they tell time by their antler shadows? There's a 100% chance I don't remember what I said. 100%. 100%. Okay, friends. I need to do 2 auditions and I guess cram a fucking book. I gotta cram a stupid book that I don't care about whatsoever. So we are going to raid our amazing friend Trisha Hall. And guys, drop Annie a follow on YouTube, on TikTok and Instagram, please. And if you're interested in spirit medium work, I know she does like a free consultation. So that'll be a good thing to check out. So great shame. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I'm enjoying the podcast. I mean, of course I'm enjoying it. I just get to chat with my friends for 3 hours about life. And I like how uniquely different the conversations are. I was worried that you guys would be able to pick up on too many patterns that I talk about, but that's kind of the point. No problem. Thanks for showing up, guys. Thanks for everyone who enjoyed. We'll be live again Wednesday. We're starting our normal schedule again, which will be Wednesday at 3 p.m., Friday nights at 6 p.m., and then Sundays at 11. That's going to be the schedule for the foreseeable future. So thank you all for hanging out, for showing up, for having a good time. And I will see you on Wednesday and in the Discord. Hey, what's up? Okay, take care, everybody. Fantastic day. And I'll see you very soon. Goodbye from Biscuit. Be sure to share some raid commands. Trisha's way. Enjoy your book. I certainly will not. Take care, everybody. See you soon.
Oh my god!